Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Yeah, baby, back. What is happening, everybody? Happy Friday, Friday. God, Jared Brooks. What's up, fellas?
You missed us, dog.
Hugs.
You missed us.
Huggies, hugs. Come on.
Now you know why he's happy, because he didn't have to see us for 2 days. That's why he's happy.
Exactly.
He was able to reload.
I miss Barrett so much. I had him on my radio show last night. Not that I didn't miss you, Derek. I just miss Barrett so bad.
I understand the bond between you two. It's okay. It's all right.
Hey, so he texted me, he said, hey, man, would you mind jumping on the show around 10 o'clock at night? And I put in, hey, remember me?
Like, name sounds familiar. Oh my God. Yeah. So good to be hanging with you. I had fun. I went down and I hosted an event for one of our sponsors. You guys hear me talk about Razor Technology. We were down there. We're down in AC at Ocean at our favorite place, Ocean Casino Resort. And it was, I'll tell you, man, a lot of fans of the show, fellas. A lot of people quoting our craziness and the weird stuff that we do, which tells me they know the show. So it was really good. Really good. Yeah,
bro.
So MC it? Did you just MC it, or did you have to answer questions about Razor Technology?
No, not about Razor. No, I'll tell you what happened. I'll give you a funny story. So it was a lot. It's, they do tech support and stuff like that. And frankly, a lot of it was way over my head. I was just sitting there like nodding, like, yeah, this sounds awesome. I don't even know what I'm listening to, but anyway. Yeah. But what happens was, it was a lot of like elaborate, sort of like slide presentations and stuff that people were doing, right. No. So what ends up happening is, one of the presenters goes up there, and his slide presentation isn't working. All right. There's something's going on. Right. So I could see this guy was just like, like the sweat starts to come down. He doesn't know what to do. He's up there in a room of, I don't know, whatever, 200 people, something like that, whatever it was. So I'm like, I can't just let this dude hang here and just, fry. Right. Yeah, man. So I just ran up. I'm like, hey, I said, hey, why don't you grab a seat? We'll get this thing straightened out. I mean, in the meantime, let's open it up to questions. Let's Eagles and whatever. We just started talking sports, and it turned out to be fun, man. It turned out to be they wanted to talk about the Eagles and Phillies and Sixers and all that, but they also wanted to talk about our crazy business that we work in. Right. So it was a combination of both. So it was fun, and so I did that. I sort of just ad-libbed that for like 15 minutes till they got this guy straightened out. So, what I was doing was emceeing. I introduced people. I, talked about some people and gave some people some love who were doing just great stuff. And the keynote speaker was our guy Jaws. And I got to hang out with Jaws. Yeah, Jaws is the best.
Jaws' birthday, man.
Jaws' birthday was yesterday. Yep. I won't say how old, but Jaws celebrated his birthday yesterday. And Jaws loves us. And he's like, whenever you need me, I got you. I'm like, all right, Jaws, I'm hold you to that, my man. Yeah. So it was good. It was a fun week, a fun couple days. All good. But I missed you guys. And I missed our friends in the chat section, our friends streaming, our friends listening. I miss all you guys. So
yeah, they missed you too, because oh my goodness, these two are off the rails again.
Nobody to stop the fun and try and dial you back in.
Nope, nobody could bring us back in, and it was times, man. It was times that it was crazy. We talked about everything. I mean, everything you asked. We talked about it, so it was a great time. It was a great time.
Awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. No, but look, it's not like there isn't a shortage of things for us to kick around, man. So a couple things. One, let's start with this one, the news of today, right? So we all we're like, when's this going to happen? When's the annual Lane Johnson restructuring coming? So eventually it came down today. And the way this works is, guys, so they've extended him now through the 2026 season. Okay. Right. He got a 33.4 extension, 30 million of which is guaranteed, But what that allows the Eagles to do is sort of spread it out a little bit better. So they were originally going to take a $24 million cap hit this year just for Lane. They lowered that down to 14 now. So they basically knocked 10 off of his cap hit, which gives him a lot more flexibility to be able to maneuver and do what you got to do. Natural thought is, does this mean Jalen Hurts is coming? Is this some of the moves they're starting to do? Or is this just, hey, we need help other areas and we're going to use the money there? Anyway, I'm glad to see it. And we know Lane's always up for this.
No question. I mean, because it helps the player out. It gives him more upfront money, number one, more guaranteed money. Like right now, he's guaranteed for what, $30 million in 26?
Yes. Is that what it is in 26? It's 30 million, or is it just 30 million? I don't know. I could check that.
Well, all I know is it's a lot of money, a boatload of money coming in at the beginning of his this year. So he'll get a signing bonus. And that's what the player wants, a signing bonus and a little more, because you'll at least you're going to be guaranteed some money right now.
Yeah, right. Why not? I get it up front. Give it to me, man.
Yeah, give it to me.
I refer to it as funny money, because even though it looks like one thing on paper, how he will find a way to move it around later. Now, Lane's going to get his money, no question about that. But what we see today isn't always the case of what it is and when you lay it out. Howie's the best of the best when it comes to that stuff, man. But kudos to Lane. Lane always talked about, and he's told me, and he said it a number on this format, that he wants to play at least 2 more years.
Right.
So this is extending him like for a 3rd year. So
this goes 2023, 4, 5, 6. That's 4 more years.
So 4 more years, and right now, Mr. Lane is, where is he here? He's 32, so we're looking at 36 possibly for Lane to play. And considering what he has done, even if there is a slight drop-off with Lane somewhere, still going to be one of the best of what he does.
Yeah,
no question about that.
No question about
it. And he deservedly so. Lane is my dude, man. He's my guy. But, we talk about all these older guys that are signing. These aren't charitable cases that they're giving money out to these guys and giving them contracts for nothing. These guys can generally play. Brandon Graham had double-digit sacks last year. Fletcher Cox played pretty well last year. Going into this year, he is the number 1 defensive tackle we have in the locker room. We have a top 5 corner in Darius Slay. Well, Slay. We got top 5 corner Slay. It's not like they're signing guys off the JAKIB award that can't play. These guys can play. We signed back the best center in football.
Right.
So to think we're just being, charitable givers of money, no, it's not the case. They've earned the right to get the contracts that they've given.
No, you're right, B. You're right. And Howie said, look, I may have made that mistake after Super Bowl 52 with some of those guys. But you can't question the level that these dudes played at last year.
Exactly.
Kelsey Lane, and I know maybe people wanted a little bit less for Fletcher Cox, but Fletcher Cox can still play. And especially when you lose Hargrave, you need him to be back. You need a stabilizing force.
Here's my only concern with Fletcher. Did Fletcher play well on his own, or was it a byproduct of Javon Hargrave being next to him?
Yeah. Now,
I'm not saying Fletcher can't play.
Yeah.
But we've all agreed in unison across the board. And when I say in unison, not us, but observers in our business across the board, that we've seen a decline in Fletcher's overall play in terms of consistency. He had the luxury of having a dude that was just as good as him. You know what I'm saying? Next to him. Now, you got to rely on, yes, Mr. Brooks.
No, I'm waiting. I just want to let you know. I'm going to say something after you say it.
Oh, okay. Now he has to kind of groom Jordan Davis. Count on Milton Williams. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft another D tackle in the draft. So he has to carry, I think, the brunt of the trench warfare. And that's not to say Davis or Milton can't play, because Milton has played well. But now Fletcher has a little bit more of the onus on him because the $84 million man Hargrave is not there anymore.
Well, it's twofold though.
Okay.
One guy one guy scratches his back, and then JAKIB get his back scratched.
Right.
Because on running downs, he took a lot off Hargrave. Hargrave is not a good run defender. He's a damn good pass.
And he's not real interested in defending the run either. I'm not killing the guy, but that wasn't his.
That's what Fletcher created, that penetration, which made him a lot less than earnest on him, and him getting double teamed because of Fletcher Cox was just a bear in the run. First and second down, that was with Fletcher's downs. Mm-hmm. Third down was Hargrave's down. So it's not like, it was tit for tat as far as who, and Fletcher could still light it up in the pass rush also. So it's really what you want to look at. As far as who gave what during what downs,
right?
You know what I'm saying. So I mean, Fletch is a baller, man.
Yeah, baller. Look, he's back, and there's a lot of positives here. There's certainly a long way to go. One of the things we're going to get into, we have Davis and Garrow coming up at 12:30. With Davis, just the whole drafting for need versus best player available, and what direction they're going to go, and all that kind of stuff. We will dig into that for sure. But yeah, I mean, good news. I think this could be the precursor to maybe Jalen Hurts getting done, but we'll see what happens. So Lane extended. This one is not good, and I think you guys may have still been on the air when this went down yesterday. Was Reese Hoskins? You know Barrett and Derek from covering sports as long. Non-contact, dude goes down like that. Yeah, man, it's bad news.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, it did happen while we were on the air, and we were watching Twitter obviously to get some updates. But at that time, obviously, nobody's going to give you anything definitive because you have to do the MRIs and all the testing. But we in watching Twitter, man, it was blowing up in terms of, hey, it looked bad, yada yada yada. He was, looks like he was in excruciating pain, and you hate to see that happen, man. Because
you do, man, you do.
Especially a guy like him. He had a decent year. He was inconsistent, but he had some clutch hits.
Did.
No question about it. He was as responsible as anybody for helping that team go as far as they went. You hate to see it happen. Now he's losing a whole year.
Yeah, and he's a free agent, Derek.
And
he may never play a game. He may never play a game again for the Phillies. It's very possible. Exactly. That's a tough way to go out, man.
I know, man.
With a team like that, it really tough. Is.
I hate that this young man is going through that, man. But it's the nature of sports, and it happens all the time. And this is crazy because he's interviewing for a lot of other teams. He's in a lamed up contract, number one. You know what I'm saying? So he was playing less, in all actuality, a prove-it deal.
Yeah.
As opposed to anything. Man, my prayers go up to Reese, you know what I'm saying? And, I hope things go on.
Good guy, too. For what it's worth, just a really good dude. Does a lot for the community, and he's a nice dude. It sucks.
Well, let me ask you two. You two are baseball guys. What do? I mean, you put Hall there. You stick Hall there.
I think they're going to. Dave Dombrowski said today, and I agree with this line of thinking. I think they want to give the job, not necessarily give it to him, but I think they want to give Hall the first shot, see what he can do. If he can hit lefties, I think he just stays there. If he starts struggling with lefties, then you have to figure something out, some kind of platoon thing where you go with Hall against righties, and then maybe you could throw Bohm over there potentially.
And who plays third then?
Sosa. You put Sosa third.
Okay. But I think Bohm basically settled in as the season went on. He struggled early on playing third base, but he settled in nicely. Hopefully they're not moving him around. I mean, teams do it.
Yeah, you're right there. Let that dude just be locked in.
Just let him locked in where he is.
That's the problem. I thought he was locked in as a third baseman.
I think that's where he should be. And I think Derek Hall can carry the load, but Rob's right. He's got to get more, looks at left-handed pitching. But I do think he has the makeup. I mean, the dude can hit it a ton.
Yeah.
And the only way, now that he is the guy until further notice, according to Dombrowski, give him all the reps he's going to get. Give him every rep. You like to back off your vets a little bit in spring training, especially when you're getting close to the start of the regular season. But get this dude up to speed. And I would say anytime they're facing any left-handed pitcher, I don't care if it's a pitcher from the Z League, a pitcher that's not going to make it to the majors, but a left-handed pitcher. Right. Put Hall in there. Let him get his cuts. And then let's sit there and analyze. What does he do? Is it an uppercut? Is it an overswing? Is there a hitch in his swing? Whatever the case may be that he does against left-handed pitching, that could be a problem. Get those little things fixed out now.
He's with a really good hitting coach too.
Yes.
We'll talk to Ben Davis about this at 1, but that's the thing, Derek. I think he's in an ideal situation too, because especially when Harper comes back, there's going to be really good pieces around him.
Yep.
You got Trey Turner, you got Real Muto, you got Bohm, who I think is, kind of figuring it out. You're not asking the kid to do a ton. He's got to be himself. You can't replicate exactly what Reese Hoskins did. So we'll see. But that's a tough break, man. And then the worry for me is you lose Hoskins now. You got a couple arm injuries too with Suarez and with Painter, and we'll see if they're able to overcome that, because believe it or not, we're 6 days away from opening day. Just crazy.
What is the word on Painter?
So he shut down until April, Barrett, and then they're gonna ramp him back up and see how everything is. Suarez right now, they're in kind of a holding pattern because he had a setback. So they're just resting him right now. They don't know where that stands. So the good thing about the early portion of the baseball schedule is you have built-in days off, like a good amount of them for like rain and bad weather and stuff. So you're able to like skip starts if you have to. So you won't really necessarily have to rely too heavily on a fifth starter early. So you could just go with, I think they've already named Aaron Nola the opening day starter. So I think you go Nola, Wheeler, Taijuan Walker moves up, and then you go Bailey Falter. And then you figure out that fifth spot. That's the direction they're going to go, is my best guess.
Well, they didn't really play with a fifth spot last year, did they?
Yeah, it was like a lot of times they had to go with like bullpen games and stuff like that. Which is
that's what I'm saying. Bullpen games is what they specialize in for the most part. Thompson, he that's what he enjoyed doing it, man. I thought he was pretty good at governing that also.
Yeah, he did a good job with that.
Right.
In the playoffs and in the regular season. By the way, let's say hi to everybody. Mama Brooks checking in. What's up, Mama Brooks?
Mom's
is she with you guys? Is she staying?
Yeah, she's downstairs right now making bread.
Okay. All right. Mama Brooks checking in. And to all of my friends in the chat room, I missed you. All right. I missed you guys. I missed you. It's good to see everybody out there and hanging out with us. And we will field some questions from you guys a little bit later too.
Yeah, Barrett, let me ask you this real quick, dude. Because when Mom comes in, everything that Barrett told us yesterday that he's on his diet. Okay. So when Mom comes in, everything's out of the window because you can't say no to Mom's home cooking.
Okay. I'm trying to make my mom sit down and not cook.
Okay, but she's going to cook
right now.
So
because she's making bread.
See, and you're going to eat the bread, right?
No.
You're not going to eat it?
No.
None of it?
Get out of here. You're not going to have any?
A little bit of it. Yeah, I'll taste a little bit of it.
Okay.
But no, but I mean, what I'm saying, I'm on a diet. I mean, usually I sit down and have a whole loaf. I just put stick of butter down and bread down, and I just go ahead and eat the whole thing by myself.
I got you.
So you're just gonna have a slice here or there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, it's hard to say no to Mom's cooking.
It's monitoring what you're doing.
Okay, so what's harder, having a slice or two, or just going cold turkey and nothing? Because the slice or two leads to wanting more, man.
Yep.
You do, man. You do want more, man. But I'm getting back into it, man. I'm getting into saying doing pushaways now. Push away from the table. Doing pushaways, man.
Okay.
So I'm focused, man. I'm focused.
All right. I like it. Oh, by the way, we got to give you some love here. Your Kansas State Wildcats are in the Elite Eight, man. That game last night. Okay, so let's talk about this kid, Marquise Noel. What a performance by this guy.
Unbelievable, man.
20 points. Gunner, he had 19 assists, which is an NCAA tournament single game record.
That's
and
crazy.
The sickest pass you'll ever see is the lob that he threw. And that whole thing was a setup. You guys saw it, right? So he's dribbling up and trying to get a play from the coach, and he's giving him like one of these deals, and the coach is going, and then all of a sudden it was just zip, and it was a total setup, man, for a reverse alley-oop jam. It was awesome.
Bro, he started the game out that way, bro, with an alley-oop, man.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be something the way they started the game out.
He's a tough kid. That kid's tough, man.
Bro, he reminds me so much of another Wildcat, Jalen Brunson.
Yes.
Doesn't he have that type of game?
Yeah, he's got that. He's
field general, sees where things are happening.
He's in command the whole time.
Backcourt, you know what I mean? He knows where guys are going to be at, man. Passes down low.
He's good, man.
Reminds me a lot of that, that Jalen Brunson-esque type of player, bro.
Yep. No, he's been awesome. And they're in the they'll take on Florida Atlantic, who is a 9 seed who had never won an NCAA tournament in their history, in their history, Florida Atlantic. So those two teams are taking on it. That's the great thing about the tournament. Who would have thought we'd be sitting here with an Elite Eight with Kansas State and Florida Atlantic University.
Bro,
So that's what I told you Monday. That's what I love most about the NCAA tournament. You don't have to have a team in a tournament to appreciate the tournament. Everybody who watches the tournament, if you don't have it, they latch onto a Cinderella team.
Yep.
Florida Atlantic is a Cinderella team. Nobody picked K-State to get to the Elite Eight. Okay. You look at and I still don't believe both Houston and Alabama are going to get to the Final Four. I really don't.
Wow.
I just think it's so wide open this year. I think this year, and I think I said this last week, I think this year is as wide open as the tournament has ever been.
Yes.
When you look at the parity across the league.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And like, I'm rooting big time for Florida Atlantic, and I don't know anybody there. Mm-hmm. I've never known anybody to go there. But it's just what a great these kids are fearless, man.
Yeah,
Their mindset is just, you know what? Nobody expects us to do it. Let's just go out and prove everybody wrong, man.
Yep.
Because everything we get is gravy from this point on.
Right. And it's starting to be like the one and dones or the school where you have the prominent one and dones aren't doing as well as the school. They have guys that come in and play 3 years. You know what I mean? They just, they more the teams are more together. They look like they're more controlled and the game is controlled by these older guys on the field. You know what I'm saying? You can see the difference in their age when you got, these teams that go out there and play. So, I mean, I love it, man. I love it. I love the fact that you can have a team where you don't have as much talent as the one-and-done teams, but yet they can compete with them because they play more organized brand of basketball.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll get into the games later tonight, including, by the way, Villanova women play this afternoon. They're in the Sweet 16. They play Miami coming up. They've had an unbelievable run. They have the in my opinion, the best player in the country in Maddie Segrist. So Nova women a little bit later. Hey, I wanted to throw this out there too.
My boy.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but at 2:00, we might have former Eagle Todd Pinkston, who is now the running back coach for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
And, Todd's a great dude. He's driving right. He says he's driving right now. He says, but I'll try. I said, dude, do like a lot of our guests, pull over into a rest area, a parking lot or something, to join. So, and I said, that's 90 minutes from now. So we're going to see. But Todd, Todd's a great dude. Career ended abruptly because of an Achilles injury. He's been coaching at various levels. And to be honest, I never thought he would be in the NFL. When you think about players that do you think they would make good coaches in it? I thought maybe, high school, college for him, something comfortable for him. But now he's with the big boys.
Yeah, good for him.
So,
okay.
So as you guys watch me looking down, it's because we're texting like 2. He's in the Midwest somewhere. I don't know if he's in Mississippi or Kansas City, but it's at least an hour behind us. You know how that goes. We're on Eastern time. That means you're an hour behind us.
I'm telling you, you have to be so clear with guests. You're like, we're Eastern time zone, meaning for you, it's this time. That's what I always do with guests.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. And our girl Fitness Rebel is in Ireland.
Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah. She bringing us back some trinkets?
I don't know, man, but she landed in Dublin. I think they're either 5 or 6 hours ahead of us, so somewhere around there. But yeah, I saw her tweet out that she had landed in Dublin, so she's in for a good time. I can tell you that, man. It's a fun country.
You been there?
Yeah, I did. I did a trip where we went from Dublin to the north of Ireland, which is Belfast, in like a week. And I had 48 Philadelphia sports fans on the trip with me. And I hosted, every morning we would do like a Q&A thing. It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Did you get to see a lot of the country? Because when you do trips like that, everything is so rapid fire, and it's so regimented, and everything's structured by time. Mm-hmm. Did you really get to enjoy the ambiance of the country?
Yeah, I did. It was good. I think we got 2 or 3 days when we landed in Dublin just to be in Dublin. But yeah, and we made it a point, like all the little towns, we took our time in, and we had a great tour guide. That's the key to the whole thing too. Is you got a good tour guide, man, you're good to go. But it was fun. But yeah, so she'll have a good time. I wanted to throw this in there before we get a timeout, and we're joined by Dave Zingaro from NBC Sports Philadelphia in a minute. Our guy Steve Coatsy, who we all know, is retiring after 43 years with the Flyers organization,
What?
both in the front office and as a broadcaster, either on TV or on radio. Coatsy is hanging him up. Coatsy is as loyal a Flyers guy as there is.
No question about it.
Yeah, and a great dude, man. Just a great dude.
Yeah, I will say this about Coasty. When I first got to Philadelphia in '97, he was one of the first guys that came out of his way to introduce himself. Obviously, we had a relationship with the team. And his personality and his energy, even when he just stands there and talks to you about nothing, is the same energy that he exhibits when he's on a broadcast. I've never met anybody like, I'm like, dude, does your battery ever run out? You know, and he's such a great dude. And you know what, good for him. You know, he's done what he could do, and it's time for him to enjoy the fruits of his labor, man. He's been loyal to that organization. The organization has been extremely loyal to him, and good for him. Good time for him to ride off into the sunset and enjoy his days.
Yeah, absolutely. And a more fun guy you will never find on the road. I will just tell you that. Coatsy can get after it, man.
I won't mention anything about that.
Woo! I can attest to that one.
I've seen it firsthand in Buffalo.
Yes.
Playoffs.
Yes.
That's all I'll say.
I was with him in Toronto, man. Whoa. All right. Okay. So when we come back, Dave's and Garrell, we'll talk to him about the Lane Johnson extension. And then at 1 o'clock, Ben Davis. 2 o'clock, maybe Todd Pinkston. So you don't want to go anywhere, man. We got a lot in store today, a lot to get into. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. That's for sure. That's Barrett. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We're Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube. Huh? Yes. Hi. JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. All right. Let's talk about Bravo Pizza. It's Friday, man. Friday's a pizza day. Okay. You know that. So I got the place that you need to go. And it's Bravo Pizza in Havertown. I have literally been going there since I was a little kid. It's family owned since 1985. Alex and his crew, they're open 7 days a week. And the great thing is all of their food is fresh. And by the way, you're going to see in a second what I'm talking about, but all their food is fresh, homemade daily, not sitting under some heat lamp. Bravo offers 20 different styles of pizza daily. They also have slices. They have pies to go. I love the upside down. That's my favorite. That's the one I'll be getting a little bit later tonight. That's for sure. But you name it, they'll make it. And you could also, again, you want to call up or pop in there and get something specialized that maybe, even beyond the 20, they will do that. But they don't just have pizza. They got fresh pasta. They have sandwiches. They have wraps. They have wings. They have salads. And it's all awesome. Bravo Pizza is fully committed to the community, too. They have fundraisers for charities, schools, little leagues, where the proceeds go to these organizations. You could follow them on Instagram and Facebook at the Bravo Pizza of Havertown for daily specials, promotions, you name it. The address, 1305 Westchester Pike in the Manoa Shopping Center in Havertown. Give them a call, 610-446-3800, 610-446-3800. All right, you just heard me talk about it. Check it out. Here is Bravo Pizza in action.
Welcome to Bravo Pizza of Havertown. Come in, guys.
On a speaker now. Yep. On speaker.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
My name is Fran Salerno. I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
We're back. Yes, we are. Sports Take on this Friday. Hope you're doing well. That's Derek. That's Barrett. I'm Rob. Thrilled, always thrilled to have our next guest on. Does an amazing job covering the Eagles for NBC Sports Philadelphia. You can follow him on Twitter at DZengaro NBCS. Also has the Eagle Eye podcast with Ruben Frank. Dave, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good, and you, bro?
Dave, we're good. First question I have is, did your mind work the same? I hope it didn't work the same way as mine, because then you'd have real problems. Did you think at least that when you heard the Lane extension that maybe this means Hurts is pretty close, or is it just to free up room for other maneuvers they still need to make?
I wouldn't read into that too much. Like, ultimately, it'll give them some flexibility to do that deal and have space for other things, but Lane wasn't going to play this year on the deal the way it was structured because of the cap hit. We're talking about, you looked at the Eagles cap situation going into this offseason, and there were 2 contracts you knew could not be there the way they were. And it was because of the cap hit. That was Darius Slay and Lane Johnson. Slay's cap hit was over $26 million. Slay's was over 24. Like, that's not the way the Eagles do business. They don't like to have those big chunks for guys when they can avoid it. I initially thought this was going to be a flat restructure for Lane. You give him a bulk of his base salary and a signing bonus, you prorate it and you alleviate the cap. That's kind of what they did here, but they also gave him a pay bump. They gave him some guaranteed money. It well deserved for Lane Johnson. It basically, like, you look at it, it's a 4-year deal worth $80 million, $30 million of that's guaranteed. So really the next 2 years of this contract are guaranteed. He's going to be 33 by the time this next season begins. But I mean, if there's one guy we haven't seen an ounce of depreciation, it's Lane Johnson. I mean, he's been so good recently.
Yeah.
So you feel okay about this.
No question.
Dave, do you think people are a little bit too anxious when it comes to this Jalen Hurts thing? I think it's going to be a slow, meticulous thing. It's going to get done eventually in its right time, but I think people are too anxious in terms of get him done now, because the team doesn't have to get it done now.
They don't. It behooves them to get it done sooner rather than later. I mean, the price tag isn't going down for Jalen Hurts. And I think there's a little bit of a rush in some sense because you have the other two quarterbacks who are eligible for contracts this offseason, or Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. So, I mean, I think that it would make sense for Howie to try to get this Hurts deal done before those two deals. It's going to be a massive number no matter what. I mean, I don't think anyone's questioning that. We're talking 47 to 50 million, maybe over that per year. But you want to get in before Herbert and Burrow because that becomes the new floor. You want to set the floor. You don't want to have to go over top of it. So I think there's a little bit of a rush there. And unlike Herbert and Burrow, there is no fifth-year option for Hurts. He's entering the final year. So, yeah, you want to get it done. I think I was listening to Joe Banner speak with my colleague John Clark on his podcast, and I thought Joe Banner brought up a very good point that both sides know it's going to be massive in terms of average per year. We just mentioned it's probably going to be around 50 per year. The years is the difference right now. The Eagles are going to try to get as many years as they can, and Hurts wisely should try to limit it to 3 years or whatever it is in terms of an extension, because the salary cap is going to rise rapidly once this new TV money comes in. And that's why the Eagles, you want to get this done this offseason because the price tag isn't going down. We're looking at, that Patrick Mahomes deal. By the end of that thing, he's going to be getting paid relative peanuts.
Yep. Oh, it's a great deal for the Chiefs.
It really is, because, I mean, Joe Banner even said it, and I agree with him. Like, the quarterback salaries in the next 5 years, these guys who we're talking about now is like $45 to $50 million quarterbacks are going to be getting paid 70 to 75 million. Like, it's going to rise rapidly. So the difference between, say, a 5-year extension and a 3-year extension for Jalen Hurts is pretty big in terms of actual money going to him, which is why the Eagles would want to get a longer term deal. If Hurts gets a 3-year deal, he continues to play really well. He can hit that negotiating table in his prime after the TV money, and that's a big difference in money.
You don't think?
Trust me, that Mahomes deal, he won't see the end of that deal. That deal
that'll get redone
big time. I'm sorry, Barrett.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, you're looking at that. The style of play factor into where this money is, because I mean, you talk about. I think it's a double-edged sword when you talk about how you divvy out the years. Years being all right. He's a versatile quarterback. He can run. And, they tend to say that running quarterbacks don't usually have the same tenure as guys that, are drop back quarterbacks as type of players. How do you find that fine line if you're Jalen Hurts and if you were the Eagles?
Yeah, it's an interesting question for Hurts because, if he's going to fight and if his agent's going to fight for a shorter term deal because they want to hit the negotiating table again, I think it has to be in their mind. Now, he's not thinking about that. He's thinking, I play the way I play. I'm a really good player. It doesn't matter. But it's something in the back of everyone's mind. It's like, this guy, he plays the position in a style that leaves him open for some extra hits, and he has struggled at times to stay healthy. The last 2 Decembers he's been hurt, and I don't think that's lost on anyone. But I do think he does a relatively good job of protecting himself. There are moments where he'll put his head down, and you wonder about the cumulative effect of that. But he's still so young that you hope you at least have like 5 years of him in his prime coming. You never know. I mean, you see Cam Newton right now doesn't have a job, and he's not the same guy he once was. And Cam's bigger, and he took these hits. I mean, different style of play a little bit, but I think you worry about that. Yeah, sure.
Dave, let me ask you. We haven't had a chance to talk since the CJ Gardner-Johnson stuff came down, and the deal numbers are out. 6.5 base, 1.5 in incentives. We could probably likely get him to 8. How surprised are you that he's not an Eagle when you see that number that he got from the Lions?
Yeah, I don't know if the number surprises like makes me surprised anymore. I think these two sides just weren't going to figure it out, and I think it's a shame because I look at it and I think the Eagles would be a better team with him, and he'd be in a better position, whether it was this deal or the initial deal he was offered. He'd be in a better spot with the Eagles. So I think it was just a case of misreading the market. If you're CJ's camp, and I don't think he's alone in that. I mean, I misread the market. I thought he was going to get paid a lot more than this. The difference is I didn't have a client depending on me reading the market. And look, give Howie credit. He read the market right, but in the process, they didn't get the player either. So reading the market's great, but when you lose the player, like, what does it really matter? It's a shame because I thought that he made sense to make him a priority, and I understand all the moves the Eagles have made this offseason, but he was the one free agent that I thought you want to sign to a long-term deal.
Yeah, because of age, right?
Age. I mean, every other player they signed, so the other two guys they signed to long-term deals were, I mean, really just Slay and Bradbury. They're 3-year deals, basically be 2-year deals. If I had to ask you, do you think those guys will be playing their best football in that third year? You'd probably say no, given the age. I mean, Slay's be 35, Bradbury's be 33. You'd probably say no. Those guys won't be playing their best football at the end of that contract. But with CJ, he's 25, coming off his first year at safety. There's some projection involved, sure, but I feel pretty confident saying his best football would be in the third year of that deal, given the experience. He'd be 28 at that point. So that's why I think it hurts, because you didn't have many opportunities to accomplish both tasks here, to make the team better in 2023 and in the future. And he was the one guy that I thought, man, that's why he should have been a priority. Maybe he was, and I think he was, but the two sides were just so far apart.
Dave, you're surprised that Bradbury came back on a pretty favorable contract for the Eagles when you consider so many teams are looking for that upper echelon cornerback out there. I thought the numbers would be much higher than what he settled for here.
I'll tell you what might be more surprising than the safety market this offseason was the cornerback market.
Yeah.
I mean, defensive backs in general didn't get paid what we expected them to get paid. So, and like for safety, I think the valuation of the position varies, right? Like, and it's a less valuable position historically than corner. Seeing the corners not get paid, that was a little more surprising. We were living in this world where we were worried about the safety market, but the corner market's what allowed James Bradbury to come back. And once the Eagles didn't figure that out with CJ, that's where the money went. And we've seen them do that before when they kind of have to pivot in free agency. When one deal isn't there, they go, well we got to spend this on something. And Bradbury made a lot of sense. It is a pretty favorable deal for the Eagles. It really comes down to a 2-year, $18 million contract, which for a guy who played as well as he did last year that's not bad. And the Slade deal is really a 2-year deal too, worth like $23 million. So getting both of those guys under contract for the next 2 seasons, look, maybe they'll decline enough that, you say, hey, that wasn't worth it, but they're going for it. They have a roster that should compete right now. They have the best quarterback in the conference by a country mile. I mean, there's no one else even close. So you go for it, and that's what they're doing.
Well, when you look at that, though, does that take them out the race for these really good corners in this draft? I mean, this is one of the better corner drafts I've seen. Gonzalez, Witherspoon,
Porter.
You've got guys that can come in and play now. I know they did it back in the day when they had 2 good corners and Bobby Taylor and those guys, but you think that would take them out the market, or are they just going to go with the trenches anyways? It's a foregone conclusion they're going with the trenches.
Well, look, I don't think it takes them out of it at all, and it shouldn't. I think the way that smart teams use free agency is to fill the holes, because the last thing you want is to go into a draft saying we need this position. That's when you end up with Marcus Smith, right? Like that's where you reach and you say, well, we got to get this position, and it puts you in a really bad spot. So that's the way I look at, like, especially a deal like Nicholas Morrow, right? He's not very good. but he started some games, and it kind of takes away this glaring hole that now you don't feel the need, like, we got to get a linebacker in the draft. Not that they'd use a first rounder on one, but that's the idea, is you plug holes in free agency. So I don't think it crosses cornerback off the list. Now, they haven't drafted one in the first round since 2002.
Since Lito on those guys.
So, I mean, it's been a long time, but I agree with you. There are good players, and it goes beyond the top three. And I know you mentioned Witherspoon, Gonzalez, and Porter. It goes beyond that. There will be really good players, whether it's Banks from Maryland or Cam Smith from South Carolina. There are other good corners that you could probably get at that number 30 pick, or if you want to have a modest trade down, like out of the first round into the second round. I think there'll be good corners there. And I don't think bringing back Slay and Bradbury prohibits you from doing that. It shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't not draft someone because you have an aging vet in front of them. I think that's bad business. And we saw last year they drafted Cam Jurgens with Jason Kelsey in place. So I don't think the Eagles think that way either.
Dave, if I had to put you on the spot and say that the position they need most help, where would you say?
And this is not taking into account positional importance. It's safety. Right now, they have 4 safeties under contract. And their starters are Reed Blankenship and Kayvon Wallace.
Yeah, that's
that is
great.
so
And
funny,
linebacker
bro.
is close. I mean, linebacker's not much better.
Yeah.
But man, safety right now, they aside from needing at least one starter, they need bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
They need some guys just fight for roster spots, and that's what Justin Evans is. He's a body to fight for a roster spot. Now you have Avonte Maddox, who has played safety before, and he did a little bit last year. You have Josiah Scott, who cross-trained at safety last year too, but you need safeties. You need just guys who are safeties. They play safety. They're going to compete for a safety job, or they're going to be a starter. And they are not done at that position. They can't be.
Yeah, they can't be done at that. But there's so many guys out there that in a position of need, not even a first rounder that you really draft at the safety position. So that's where I'm at. I know they won't draft a guy in the first round at safety.
No.
There's not even a guy that's quality enough to draft at number 1.
Branch is the one guy who could be a first round safety this year.
Well, I'm saying mid rounder. He's a mid rounder.
Yeah, we're like second round pick. Like that wouldn't shock me drafting one in the second round. Third round, they had the 94th overall pick. I think that would be a decent spot to grab one.
Hey, Dave, would you toy with the notion of bringing Rodney McLeod back? He said on the NFL Network the other day, Good Morning Football rather, that he would not mind finishing out his career. I mean, he had a great year. He was third on the team on the Colts last year in tackles. He bounced back nicely from that ACL injury. He would be a great veteran stabilizing force in the back end. I don't know. He was never the fastest safety out there, but he was one of the smartest safeties out there. Would you toy with that notion? You get him at a bargain basement price, probably.
Yeah, it's funny. Last year, the Colts, they really didn't want to start Rodney.
Right.
But he forced their hand. They had younger players they wanted to play, and Rodney was too good. They needed to play him. And then he ended up having one of the better seasons of his career. They really liked him in Indy. They're not going to bring him back there, I wouldn't assume, because they have these young players they want to play. I would absolutely entertain that. Now, I wouldn't entertain it as a starter.
Right.
I don't think you can rely on an aging Rodney McLeod and just fill it that way. But if you're talking about like a third safety, that old Corey Graham role, Sean Desai in Chicago did run some 3 safety looks. Like I would entertain that. I think he'd be a really good depth player, and it would be cheap. But I don't think it can just be, hey, Rodney's back, he's the starter, we're ready for week 1. I wouldn't be on board with that. But as a bring him in, throw him in the mix, third safety role, yeah, for sure.
But come on, man, you got Kayvon Wallace and Reed Blankenship. I mean, really, people are really acting like Reed Blankenship is the second coming or something.
Exactly.
Like he's Malcolm Jenkins or may even be Dog.
I do think he has starting potential. Like I think he can be a quality starter. The funny thing is, like, as much as I'm still bullish on Nakobe Dean, we've seen more Reed Blankenship than we have Nakobe.
Right.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if he just turns out to be a depth guy, special teams, or more. Reed, it's to be determined right now. You're right. That's an area they are light. All right. The other big name with the Adam Schefter report yesterday was Ezekiel Elliott, and he's down to 3 teams supposedly: the Eagles, the Bengals, and the Jets. Are you buying it, Dave? And would you buy into him as an Eagle?
Yeah. This is the way I put it on Eagle Eye yesterday. The 3 women I'd like to date are Margot Robbie, Angelina Jolie, and Megan Fox. That's his list, right? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
I think you have a shot, by the way, with at least one of them. I got you.
It doesn't make sense. He's a declining player who Dallas used up.
He's the oldest 27-year-old. Like he's 27 going on 56.
Right.
Yeah, and this is why it's like, man, the position's just brutal. Like he's 27 years old, and we're talking about him like he should be thrown in the trash heap. He was a really good player, you know.
And you don't bring in Rashad Penny if you're going to go out and even toy at the notion of bringing Zeke in. You don't bring Penny in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and look, I don't think Zeke would be expensive, but like,
no.
Well, I don't see it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I don't get it either. And the argument from some is, oh, he's so good at the goal line. Well, you got a quarterback who's so good at the goal line.
Yeah, the quarterback
push is sticking around for at least another year. So, to me,
and like Boston's really good at the goal line.
True.
Yep.
Rashad Penny's not bad at the goal line.
No, he's not.
That doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
It feels more like it's coming from his side than it is. It takes 2 to tango, and it feels
you got to generate buzz, man. Generate buzz.
Hey, that's what they get paid to do, right?
Right. Exactly.
Hey, Dave, this team lost its top 5 tacklers on defense, on a defense that was suspect in tackling anyway. When you look going forward, overhauling the coaching staff, you're going to have a lot of new components to that defense. Is there an area that you see that could get exposed? We talk about you've got 2 potential Pro Bowl corners. You've got, you got Reddick on the outside. BG's coming back. Cox is coming back. But you're missing other pieces of the equation that made the sum of the whole that much better as a whole unit. Do you think there's an element that could get exposed outside of what we've been talking about, the safety spot?
I mean, middle of the field.
Okay.
And like I don't just mean the middle of, I mean like straight up and down. Like you lost Javon Hargrave, you lost both safeties, you lost both linebackers.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the middle of the field. I mean,
absolutely.
So a lot of this is going to be like, all right, who do they have to replace him? Fletcher Cox coming back. I know people are going to groan about the money, kind of the going rate. And once Javon wasn't coming back, makes sense to me. Milton Williams is going to need to step up. I like Milton. I thought he played really well last year after he got past his injuries. Now he's a starter. So you need more from Milton. You need more from Jordan Davis, certainly, who was playing really well before he suffered that high ankle sprain last year and then was never really the same. I thought he started to play better toward the end of the year. But both of those guys are now starters, which means you lost depth there. Mm-hmm. You have to replace that depth somehow. Right now your backups are Tui Pelotu,
Marvin
Wilson.
Yeah.
So you need some depth there. I could see them drafting high at defensive tackle. And then linebacker, Nakobe Dean is going to be an important piece of this defense. Yeah. I'd expect he's going to be your Mike linebacker. I like Nakobe, but haven't seen him play. And if it's Nakobe Dean and Morrow, you're undersized.
They're like safeties, man.
Bro, that's what I was saying. I've been saying it for long. You got 5'11"
NFL. You don't have those are little bodies out there.
Yeah.
So you do worry about tackling, and you worry about, okay, well, maybe the safeties will clean it up. Well, now you got
what safeties?
Blankenship and Kayvon Wallace. So that's the concerning part. Is the middle of this defense.
That's the scariest thing in the world, man. When you think about what our 2 starting safeties are, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Kayvon Wallace, he did step up a little bit. When they asked him to, at that 3rd safety position. You can say what you want to say, but he came in, was very, very good towards the end of the season.
Make some plays.
Yeah, but do we have a starter right now And, you know, I mean, just like you said, like Davion Taylor, they cut him, brought him back, put him on practice squad. Nobody wanted him. They cut him and nobody wanted him.
Right.
So that just shows you, you know, one thing. Sean Bradley, special teams guru. Can he play linebacker in the league? When he did play, he used to overrun plays, wasn't very instinctual. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? Safety position, I just don't know, man.
You mentioned Christian Ellis, though, who
Christian Ellis played pretty well when they gave
I don't
him
know. We'll see. I think he's going to have a chance in camp to earn a spot. And if they don't bring anyone else in, like, there's a job open.
Yep.
There's no guarantee it's going to be Morrow. Like, you
Right.
bring it in. I just got to glance at the contract today. It's nothing. They can cut him tomorrow with almost no repercussions. So, that's an open job, and they might not be done there. I certainly don't think they're done at safety. And there are more intriguing options at safety on the free agent market still.
Yeah.
Whether it's Amos or whoever else, like there are guys out there. I know they brought in Keanu Neal, which is funny. They brought in Keanu Neal for a visit because they need safeties and linebackers. And Howie's like, I know a guy who can do both.
Hey, he also helped win them a Super Bowl, Dave. Let's be real about Keanu Neal.
Right knee of Keanu Neal.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this then. When you look at the offensive line, everybody's saying, you know, Cam Jurgens is just going to be penciled in at that right guard position. Is that really the case? I mean, you got Sewell Peta, Jack Driscoll. I mean, I think there's going to be a healthy relationship, competitive nature with that right guard position. But at this point, I still don't see a swing tackle either.
Well, I think Jurgens is the front runner for that right guard spot. They don't want him sitting another year. They really like him internally. They think he's a good player. He might be undersized overall when you look at guards, but he's about the same size as Seumalo.
Really is the same size as Seumalo, yep.
Yeah, he has long arms, so like I think he projects okay as a guard.
Not to cut you guys off, but Barrett, I mentioned it. Barrett and I did a segment where I asked about certain players at certain positions. Ian Rappaport just reported Eagles are signing Terrell Edmonds from Pittsburgh for safety.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, he was one of the free agents who was out there that made sense.
I thought he was going back. I thought he was going to go back to the Steelers. That's a huge sign. Now we have a starting
75
safety.
starts. That's 75 starts over.
He's a starter, former first rounder.
Yep.
Yeah, coming off a good year.
2018 first rounder. Yep.
We have a started safety. So all right, we have.
There you go.
We have that. We're good.
There you go. That's good.
I told you that was the Smitty's boy. You know, Avante Smith's boy.
But the one thing you can never do is make any kind of pronouncements with Howie now. You got to have patience because he is a guy who will work later into the offseason, even into camp.
Yes,
we know that into preseason games, if you will. So that's a good sign. That's interesting. Dave, listen, man, we appreciate a couple minutes, brother.
Appreciate you, Dave.
Thanks for hopping on. Keep up the good work at NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com.
All right, see ya.
Take care. That's Dave Spadaro or Dave Zangaro. All right, let's get. I don't know. Sorry. Dave Zangaro.
Hey, dude, you know what? Now that you said that, we need to get Spuds on here.
We'll get Spuds on.
We gotta get Spuds on, man.
We can make that happen. I'll get Spuds on for us. Maybe next week. I'll reach out to him.
Oh man.
Let's sneak in a quickie here, and we come back. Ben Davis is going to join us. We got to talk about the Reese Hoskins situation. We're 6 days away from the Open of baseball. I can't wait. Can't wait to talk to Big Ben when we come back. Derek, Barrett, Rob, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right now, I want to tell you about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group because knowing who to find and knowing who to trust with your finances can be a very difficult thing. And I found the right person, and that's Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. And I want to let you know about him too, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business and you try to get your employee benefits set up. You're not really sure how to go about it. That's another resource that Jim can assist you with. I know I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers to Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. You will be too. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can also email him, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
My name is Fran Salerno, and I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
We're back. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's hit that like button, friends, if we could. Joining us right now, we continue with the great guests. Another from the staple of NBC Sports Philadelphia, does an amazing job both as an analyst for the games as well as in studio. And he is Ben Davis. And Ben joining us right now. What's happening, Ben? How are you?
Good, guys. I'm doing well. Doing well.
First of all, I just want to say I want to thank you for not blowing me up on Twitter this week. Usually he blows me up on Twitter at least once a month. So
Derek, I would never do that.
Yeah, whatever.
Derek, I would never do that. I see a lot of potential in you, Derek. Yes. Ben, so I know you called, I believe you called the game with Scott yesterday. And,
yes.
And, you know, as an athlete as well as anybody else, you see those non-contacts, man, and you're just like, oof, maybe they dodged a bullet, but it didn't look good. And we found out they did not dodge the bullet. And Reese Hoskins tears his ACL, likely done for the season, will have surgery. Just your first reaction to what Reese means to this team. We know there's some flaws there, but what he actually means for this team, Ben.
Well, you look at what he does in the clubhouse, in the community. He's been that guy since he got here. He's been the guy he's always a team first guy. Whether he goes 0 for 4 or 4 for 4, he's really the same guy. At least he is with us every day. He's a tremendous guy. He's a leader. He's a team leader in that clubhouse. And his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, he's a guy that produces a lot. Yes, he is streaky. No, he's not the best first baseman, but he gets the job done. This is a big loss for the Phillies, a huge loss. And when he went down yesterday, you just had that feeling that something's not right. It is one of those non-contact injuries like you're talking about, Rob, with like you see in soccer or football. And the way he immediately got off that foot and landed on his right side just to spare himself, you knew something was bad. Obviously I'm not a doctor, but you knew something was something really wrong there.
So Ben, take us through what happened. When you hear non-contact drill, obviously we don't get to see it. You're there. What happened? What was he doing that led to this?
Well, first of all, it was a routine play. It was just a 2-hopper to him. and he really retreated on it, tried to take a jab step, and then he took another one, and then it went off his first baseman's mitt. The ball ended up being behind him. He turned around and went to go to his right, so he's pushing off with his left leg, and it just buckled. And it just, he immediately kind of leapt in the air and landed on his right side just to take some pressure and stress off that left leg. And he was down. He was in a lot of pain, and ended up having to cart him off. It's a devastating injury, and most likely will probably miss the whole year. And again, these are tough shoes to fill.
Yeah, and the tough thing is, it's possible it's the last game he played as a Philly, Ben. He's a free agent at the end of the year. There was no guarantees he was going to be back.
I mean, for him personally, it's probably not ideal because he's going to miss the whole year. He's not going to be able to put up numbers, but I think there definitely will be a suitor out there for him. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, you look at the numbers.
30, 80.
30 streaky, but the guy's going to hit you 30 home runs every year and drive in 85 runs. So that's the bottom line, and I think there will definitely be a suitor for him.
Well, we were just talking about it, and to me, it just makes a lot of sense for Hall to be that, no matter how good he is against lefties or righties, I think he's the, the guy you put there. But, these guys are saying Baum and Sosa got to be more involved with, third base and first base now. You see any other possibilities? Maybe, somebody else coming in and competing for that first base position?
Yeah, I think Derek Hall will probably be the front runner. He has done really well. We know what he can do against righties. I think he's showed himself pretty good against lefties this year. He's stayed in there. Again, a guy that's probably not going to win a Gold Glove, but he's suitable out there. He can get the job done. He's a big target. He's a big dude. I'd love to see this dude with some shoulder pads on.
Right, yeah. A tight end, linebacker, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, he is enormous. He's an enormous human being and a great guy, by the way. A great guy. But I could possibly see maybe Alec Boehm going over to first base if there's a tough lefty on the mound. Maybe Boehm goes to first, Sosa plays third base. There's a lot of different possibilities out there. We'll see.
What about a guy like Schwarber? I mean, you get better defense back there, in the outfield and bring him down to first base. Is there any way he can play first?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a possibility. You might be able to see Nick Castellanos. He's taking ground balls at third base every day. Yeah. Again, another big target over there at first base. I mean, Nick, he came up and played third base. That was what he did before moving to the field. So maybe that's a possibility as well. Maybe he could play first base, but Schwarber could definitely do it. Schwarber came up, with the Cubs as a catcher, eventually moved to first base, and now is in left field. That's another possibility. So Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski, they have some versatility out there. It's just a matter of what they feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, and the challenge now, Ben, is you got to get through at least 2 months we know that Hoskins, it's the entire year, but 2 months without Harper and Hoskins, and hopefully that's the case. I mean, hopefully it's only 2 months and Bryce is back here, but it does put a lot of pressure on the big boys. Not that they didn't already have it. When you sign the kind of deals that Trey Turner signed, there's pressure, Schwarber, et cetera. But I'll tell you the guy I really look at, it's a name you just mentioned, it's Castellanos. Are we going to get good Castellanos? His career trajectory is good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. It was bad last year. He should be due.
Yeah, I think he is due. And I think he's had that 1 year in Philadelphia underneath his belt. It's a big change. And I don't want to make excuses, but it's a big change going from a market like Cincinnati where you can literally count the people in the stands every night on one hand, and then coming to Philadelphia and having to play in this atmosphere and this environment with sports radio and all that kind of stuff. It's different. So he even admitted, so there was a lot of pressure, and I kind of succumbed to that a little bit. So I think he's poised to have a comeback year, a very good year. And the bottom line is they're going to need him to be a lot better in that lineup. And he's come out and said, I need to be better. So that's, as Andy Reid said, he's got to do a better job.
Hey, Ben, go back to Derek Hall for just a moment. And you said he's been staying in there against lefties, looking good against lefties. But until he does it in the regular season, it's still a question mark. And I said earlier in the show, I know managers like to let the big boys rest the closer you get to the opening of a regular season. But with him, I don't care if there's a lefty that's heading to minor league Z. Would you let him get as many reps against potential left-handers between now and the start, just to keep that flow going, just so they can peak him? Whether it's an uppercut, whether he's swinging, whether there's a hitch in his swing, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I don't see any harm in that. There's opportunities for him to go down even to the minor leagues and go on the quads and just get one at bat every inning. And I used to follow Edgar Martinez around when I was in Seattle. And if I had a day off, I would walk around with Edgar, and all the minor league guys weren't too happy about it because we're taking their at bats. But you could go down on a given day and get 12 to 15 at bats. And that's something that I think they could do with Derek Hall. Get him as many ABs as possible. Get him comfortable. Get him used to being in this star-studded lineup, and go out there and play accordingly. But I think that would behoove him if they could get him the most at bats against lefties as possible.
Ben, go ahead, Barry.
So I was just going to say this, man. Going forward, with the addition of guys that can play small, like Trey Turner now, do you see more small ball instead of just trying to rock everything out the park now with the lineup that we have right now? I mean, I think like Bryson Stott, he can go out there and really fulfill his potential by playing small ball, just getting it ball into play, going forward. So do you think that's going to be like a little shift for this team now as far as scoring?
Yeah, and I was on the radio yesterday, and I said this team is not just going to bludgeon you with home runs. Right. This is a team I think that can steal some bases. They can hit behind runners. They can possibly use the hit and runs a little bit more with these new rules and the bigger bases. And it's a very professional ball club, and the fact that they take their at bats every at bat personally. And this is a team that they said, okay, if I have 2 strikes, maybe I will shorten up. We're seeing a lot of guys choke up and just try and use the opposite field. That's something we haven't seen in years past. So that is something I think that this ball club can do a little bit more is play a little bit of that quote unquote small ball. We saw Brandon Marsh try to get on yesterday with a bunt hit. And I think you might start to see some of these things. But this is a team. I mean, Trey Turner, this guy is special, man. He is so good.
Carried it right over yesterday, Ben, from the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, it just carried over. I mean, his at bats are it was a 7-pitch at bat when he hit that home run yesterday, and he just he sees all these pitches. The guy is lightning fast, and he's not a guy that just hits for average. I mean, he can hit for average, yes, but he's also can hit the ball out of the ballpark, which we've seen at WBC. We've seen him do it in the last couple of years. So he really is the complete package. But I think all these guys, they're very content with not striking out. That's something that's I think is a big factor this year. Talking with Kevin Long, the hitting coach, they want to see the strikeout numbers come down. Hey, if you put a ball in play, obviously your chances of getting a knock are a lot better than walking back to the dugout.
Yeah, hey Ben, I'm glad you brought it up. I wanted to talk to you about. I'm assuming you saw that final game of the World Baseball Classic. You could not have written a better script for a final out. 2 teammates, Ohtani against Trout, electric. Schwarber gets him within 3-2, and it sets the stage for what's to come. I thought that was one of the most exhilarating moments in all of baseball I've seen in quite some time. And what a finish, man. That was one of the nastiest sliders I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was literally that script could not have been written in Hollywood. That was the fact that it came down to probably the 2 best players in baseball facing off and teammates against each other in that setting, everyone going just absolutely bonkers. It was incredible. And the pitch before that, Gunner, was 102.
Yes. 101.5.
Yeah, he was humping it up, man. It was
unbelievable. And then he throws that wiffle ball slider. And, if you're Mike Trout, he
caught a wiffle ball slider.
What are you going to do? What do you do?
Have you ever seen a player like Ohtani? I mean,
do we underrate him?
435. He hit 435. He was 10 for 23, 8 RBIs.
Having the speed on the one that he beats out with the Turner almost makes the play.
Yeah, that was a joke. I mean, you talk about, I follow Mark Gubizal, who went to Penn Charter. He was a great pitcher in major leagues for years. And he always refers to Ohtani as a unicorn. He goes, the unicorn does again. It's true. He is a unicorn. They always compare him to Babe Ruth, which I think is unfair because Babe Ruth only did it for like 2 years and did not put up the numbers that Ohtani's putting up. This is something like and a lot of people are saying that maybe maybe he's the bridge to letting other people do this, other players do this, be a 2-way guy. It's really hard because you got to get your bullpens in. You got to study the hitters. You got to study the opposite pitchers and how you're going to hit. But he finds a way to do it. This guy's a monster of a man. And you're right, Rob. When he beat that ball out, that ground ball, and because the ball was hit sharply.
Yeah.
Trey Turner got up and made a fire to first base and still beat it out. You just don't see the likes of this guy every day. I mean, he is a once-in-a-generation type of player.
Insane. Well, speaking of, but here's the beauty from a Philly, and of course, you're bummed the USA doesn't win, but the Phillies really showed out. Turner was nuts. Schwarber, I mean, how about he gets Darvish again?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Real Muto makes one of the most insane plays that didn't even turn out to be an out. I mean, he short hops one and delivers a cannon shot down to second base and made it so close where he had no business making it close. It just gets you excited because those three guys are yours, man.
Yeah, they showed out really well. JT ended up going 6 for 12, so 500 batting average in the WBC. What he did defensively was great, handling all those pitchers that he's never caught before. Schwarber obviously did it. That one at bat that you're talking about, Rob, he had hit, I don't know how many previous foul balls before that, but I think they combined the foul balls, they probably went 2,000 feet.
Yeah, I thought the one was going out of the place.
And then
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then he finally gets that one. And I mean, and Darvish is a tough customer, man. That dude's nasty. But Schwarber, for whatever reason, sees him extremely well. He trusts himself to let pitches get deep, and that's what he did yesterday when he hit that double to left center. He's just a very gifted athlete. And, he's on a star-studded team, but, I mean, to a man, they all said, kind of like the Phillies do here, like, he's our team leader. He's our guy. He's their guy that gets us motivated to go out and play. And he has guys follow him, and that's something. He's just a great guy, And I got to talk to him yesterday during batting practice. I mean, as humble as the day is long, and he just goes out of his way to meet people, shake hands. I always root for the good guy, and there's nobody better than Kyle Schwarber.
I think that Baseball Classic is a great ambassador to get people reinterested in the game. They always talk about the interest in baseball has declined through the years, and I think a format like this is incredible in terms of getting young people reinterested in baseball. But there's the bad with the good, because you look at what happened with Edwin Diaz at the Mets. Yeah. He's out there celebrating, and he tears up, and now he's done for the season.
Yeah,
and that's I know a lot of teams, promote, especially within baseball, but you hold your breath when you send your players to play in something like that, Ben.
No doubt. And there was a couple of times where, Kyle Schwarber got hit with a 3-0 pitch. Yeah. There were some, you hate to see stuff like that happen to Edwin Diaz. I mean, he's their $20 million closer, and he's going to be out the entire year with his patella tendon. So this is something that, you don't like to see it. He was out there. It's just, injuries are part of the game. You just don't like to see him being part of a celebration like that. But, even the game, the other semifinal game between Mexico and Japan, I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah, it was great.
But you're right, Gunnar. It's just such great for the game of baseball and people that follow it, because that game Mexico was up 3-0. I mean, that pitcher in that game, that Japanese pitcher, the first 22 fastballs he threw, 20 of them were 100 miles an hour or more.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are so fun to watch. And then Japan came back. Then Mexico went ahead, and Japan walks it off with a double to left center that scored Otani and one of their other players. I mean, it's insane. It's just really good baseball, fundamentally sound, and it was fun to watch.
Well, looking at when we go towards this season, man, where do you rank this Phillies team, like with Atlanta, the Mets, St. Louis? Is the potential there?
The potential's there if their starting rotation stays healthy. And that's something that they're not looking good at right now. Ranger Suarez, who's supposed to throw a bullpen today, he's been sore with that, with his forearm. Obviously, we know what happened with Painter. These are injuries that, again, they're part of the game. You just don't like to see them happen to your team. I think this team will go as far as the starting pitching will take them. I think the sky's the limit with this lineup. They're going to play very good defense. They're going to steal some bases. They're going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. The bullpen's going to be really good as well. But how deep can these guys get into ball games so they're not wearing out that bullpen as much? The starting rotation can stay healthy and get out there every fifth day. I like their chances to get back to the promised land.
All right, then that leads to the fear here. Suarez, Painter, both in holding patterns right now, Ben, and Suarez just had a setback with the forearm and elbow. I know early you're not as much concerned about the fifth starter because of days off that are built in already. Falter moves to 4, Walker moves to 3, I'm assuming. And is that how they kind of roll? And if they need the fifth, who is it, Strom?
They're starting to lengthen him out a little bit, maybe try and get 3 or 4 innings out of him. He's done it in the past. He's been a starter in the past. But I think that's probably the route they can go. I look at someone like a Mick Abel. I've seen him throw it down here a couple times. He's looked very good. I know he's only 21 years old, but maybe that's an option they can go to. I just look at it like, hey, bring these guys up, see what they can do. If they falter, then send them back down. But I've seen some really good arms, some good young arms. That's something that the Phillies have not had in years past. They have not had a stable of young arms at the minor league level. But boy, they have it now. And I think that's something that they could probably possibly explore maybe with Mick Abel to see if he can come up and do it. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's probably the way they would go is move Walker to 3, Falter to 4, and then just kind of mix and match for that 5th starter.
Hey, Ben, now that we know the situation without Rhys Hoskins, and I want you to give me your lineup. Give me your lineup with the Phillies without Bryce in it and when Bryce returns. If you were making a lineup, how would you stack them?
Okay, so I'm going to put Bryce in there to start.
Okay.
So I would have Turner in the 1 hole, Harper in the 2 hole, Bowman in the 3 hole, Schwarber in the 4 hole, JT in the 5 hole, Castellanos. Who am I forgetting?
6.
I would go Stott, Marsh, and then whoever's going to play. Maybe Derek Hall would be in there to maybe put him in the 7 hole, and then Stott and then Marsh. That's probably what it would be. I think if Harper's not in there, I think you got to go Turner, Schwarber, JT, Castellanos, Hall, Stott,
Marsh,
Sosa, and Marsh. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably that way.
That's a pretty doggone good lineup.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, it's pretty complete lineup from top to bottom. And again, these guys they go back to their craft. They take it seriously, and they're going to put up some good at bats against you 1 through 9. That's for sure.
Ben, NL East, Mets' biggest threat. How good are the Braves? Should we concern ourselves with the Marlins at all?
Yes, you should concern yourself with the Marlins. Though that starting rotation, I know they got rid of Lopez. He went to Minnesota, but they got a rise, a National League or American League batting champion last year. They're going to be a pretty good team. They acquired Gene Segura. They still have Sandy Alcantara. They got some good arms down there in Miami. It's not just going to walk into Miami and walk all over those Marlins. So that's something that you can concern yourself with. I think this schedule is going to benefit the Phillies in the fact that they're going from 19 games down to 13 games within their division. That's going to help the Phillies out tremendously because this division is really stinking good. And they're not going to have to possibly face Verlander and Scherzer. Maybe they don't face them depending on the rotation. Maybe they face them more. Who knows? But I think it definitely could help the Phillies. The Braves are going to be really good. That's the bottom line. And the Mets are going to be extremely good. So, but again, not having to play each of those teams six more, so that's 12 more games against other opponents that they don't have to worry about playing against the Mets and the Braves. So that's going to help them out. It's going to be a really good division. I mean, obviously, out west with the Dodgers and the Padres, what the Padres have done, I think they're the team to beat in the West. So there's a lot of good baseball to be played this summer, and we're anxious to see it happen.
That Marlins team and organization, I can never figure out. They rise up every 3 to 5 years and make a lot of noise, and then all of a sudden they just fade into oblivion. I've never seen anything like it. Obviously, they have a pretty good farm system, and they have great scouts because you hear all of a sudden these kids' names you never heard of before they come up. Marlins are up here, and then all of a sudden for the next 3 or 4 years with bottom dwellers again. I haven't seen an organization like that in quite some time.
Yeah, it's. If I was a Marlins fan, it would be very frustrating because they do have the 2 World Series, but they basically went out and bought those teams. I mean, those teams were excellent ball clubs, and they should have won the World Series. They were tremendous. But you look at it, where do they find these guys? I mean, they do have a tremendous farm system. They bring these guys up. If they have a couple good years, then all of a sudden they're trading them somewhere else to get somebody else. It doesn't make sense to me. You would think that they could just really keep these guys in that system, grow them, pay them what they deserve, and then have good teams year in and year out. It's just not their MO. And I think from a fan standpoint, it can be very frustrating. I think from a baseball standpoint, it's not good for the game.
Yeah.
Because these guys are coming up and then they're going elsewhere and having tremendous careers elsewhere. So it's something I think that I don't think the league can really do anything about it per se. No. But that's just the way they operate.
Cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what was so amazing to see that place rocking like it was during the World. I'm like, this is the same place. It's like a library during the regular season where you could scream out to each other from right field to left field, and the place is on fire. I mean, it was really weird to see that.
It was, and it's a beautiful ballpark. Like when you're in that ballpark, you're in Miami. I actually I'm probably one of the only guys that mixed that big mural out in left field with the Marlin and all the lights and all that stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, but they had that removed a couple years ago.
I think Jeter had that thing removed ASAP.
He did. Yeah. He did. But I like the ballpark, and to see it like that in that fashion, I mean, it was something, because you're right. It's like a funeral parlor in there. It's just like it's no hum, and then you got a couple, distant horns in the air. You can hear those, and then that's it.
That's a transient place, though. That's what that's just like a Vegas transient. You go there when you get old to die. That's why people go to Miami.
Nice,
Florida.
Way to go, Barrett.
There you go.
Nice. That was Barrett Brooks. That was not me.
What do they call Florida God's waiting room?
It was amazing in itself that Japan went 7-0 in this format. Do you think that will open the door for even more Japanese players to infiltrate the major leagues in the future?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, you saw some. I was really impressed with the arms that were coming out of that.
Yes,
yes. The arms were. I mean, it wasn't just Ohtani and Darvish. I mean, some of these other guys were excellent pitchers, and I think that could really open up the door. I mean, if they so choose, if teams go out and obviously have to pay for them, but I think it's definitely a possibility. I mean, I saw some good approaches from an offensive standpoint. The at bats were really good. So I think that is something that could possibly get some more Japanese players here in the big leagues. And why not? Because obviously 7-0 speaks for itself. What they did against the United States and beating them in that game, why not?
Yeah, well said. Ben, listen, I'm assuming you're back on the call tomorrow, right? Tonight's a night game that's not on, but tomorrow, 1 o'clock, back at it against the Yankees, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I'll be back on with Scott tomorrow. I think T-Mac's in Louisville.
Yes.
So he'll be out of commission, and tomorrow's the last game that we're actually broadcasting for spring training. There's another home game on Tuesday, but we're not broadcasting that one.
Yeah.
And then next Thursday they started up for real.
Man.
Let's ramp it up, baby.
All right, Ben. Listen, thanks for hopping on. We always appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes, man.
You got a grill down in Florida with you?
Oh, here we go.
I do not have a grill in Florida, but if I had one, I wouldn't share any with you.
I know you would. You cheap bleep.
I got a Publix right next door. I'm good to go.
All right,
hey,
Ben,
go to Publix, man. Get that carrot cake, man. The carrot cake is
carrot cake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
really
try
good.
it out. I do like carrot cake.
It's
you
good,
never know.
man.
You never know what kind of tips you're going to get, Ben. Carrot cake.
Carrot cake it's the bomb down there. Just trust me. I was just down in Florida. Captain Tony hit me with Publix coffee cake, man. Not coffee cake, but carrot cake. It's unbelievable, bro.
All right,
unbelievable.
I'll have to sample it.
Enjoy your dessert tonight, Ben. Thanks, Ben.
Guys.
Talk to you
good, bro.
That's Ben Davis, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Ben's great. Always awesome insight. Let's come back. Let's dig a little bit more into this Terrell Edmonds signing, guys.
Absolutely.
We got news last segment, but let's dive a little bit more into what he brings to the table. It's exciting. This is a good player, man. They got a good safety here. He can play. And he's not old either.
No.
All right, we'll do that when we come back. That's Derek. That's Barrett. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I'm going to tell you right now about Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration is the place that you reach out to if your home, your business, a property you may own goes through the inconvenience and the pain of fire, of smoke, of mold damage. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I can tell you that personally because I reached out to them on a Saturday and they got right out. They fixed the problem. It was reasonable. The price, the crew was great. It was a really one of those experiences where you breathe a real sigh of relief. That's for sure. Pro Action Restoration is licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action Restoration will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So again, it could be water, it could be fire, it could be mold, could be smoke, it could be any of the above. If you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
I get scared sometimes.
of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross. Is the best vacation one that you find or one you get lost in? One that takes you to new heights or reminds you to go with the flow? To get your feet wet and your wheels spinning? One that lets you find your own rhythm or get carried away? Find the best of yourself. Get lost in the woods. Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Plan your day with confidence.
Keep the umbrellas on hand.
With Action News and AccuWeather.
Numerous tornadoes.
Your go-to team when severe weather strikes.
The water is still rising.
Keeping you prepared wherever you watch. Action News and AccuWeather, the team you trust.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
All right, we're back. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. What do we have planned, guys? What's on the docket? Start with you, Gunnar.
As of 3 p.m. today, Trish and I will be babysitting our 4-year-old grandson, Cruz, for the entire weekend. Mom and Dad are going out of town for a little while up to the Pocono area. So it's the first time we ever get to babysit a grandkid in extended format. So he doesn't know it yet, but he loves to go to Cabela's. I took him there a couple of times. He loves Cabela's. So we're going to head over to Cabela's, and he loves going to watch the fish in the tank, and he loves looking around at all the stuffed animals and stuff.
It's nice, ain't it?
It
really
is.
Nice,
I love.
yeah.
I go. You know what? I go into a lot bear just to walk around. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff. A lot of my fishing gear I buy from Cabela's, but I like to go in there and just walk around. It's so relaxed in there. I wish they had like a Bass Pro Shop. Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's are owned by the same company. If you go to the Bass Pro Shop, they have a great restaurant in the Bass Pro Shops. The burgers are really good. The burgers and fries are really good. They don't have a Bass Pro Shop close to me, but yeah, so that's basically the bulk of our weekend is spoiling the 4-year-old this weekend.
Okay.
Well,
How about you,
when I went down to Florida, when I was in the Keys, they got that big outdoor center down there. Bass.
Yes.
And I tell you what, man, unbelievable. Then in the back, when you go to the back, they got all these boats, in the marina sitting back there, man. You go out there and you can feed giant tarpon. It's like,
wow.
7-foot tarpon back there. You know what I mean? Crazy, man. But yeah, what am I doing? I got to change the brakes, the rear brakes on my car. Change the rear brakes on my car, and then I have my daughter has a gender reveal on Saturday.
Right. Exciting.
Yes. Yeah, so gender reveal on Saturday. So I'd have to go out there. I already know what it is because I was the one they tasked to go to the doctor's office to get the envelope to see what it was. And everybody's been trying me, trying to get me to tell. I tell nobody, nothing. And it's all on me to keep the secret.
Are you guys doing a big party? So when we had my two daughters gender reveals. We have, have to do the balloons and all that stuff.
Yep, same thing.
All this good stuff. And
same thing. I mean, tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'll start cooking. They want chicken and waffles because the event starts at 12, so they want chicken and waffles. So I gotta cook chicken and waffles.
Okay, all right, sounds like fun.
What about you?
What am I doing? I'm working tomorrow. I'm on after the Phillies.
Picture that.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Picture that.
And I mean, Sunday's up for grabs, man. I haven't played pickleball in a couple weeks. Time to get back out there.
Oh, you want to play some pickleball?
Play some little pickleball. Get it going, man. I played hoops on Monday and Tuesday, and I wasn't terrible, which was encouraging, and I'm not in excruciating pain, which is also encouraging.
Right.
I'm happy with that.
I've been working out, man, a lot. And actually,
we're gonna crush in our basketball.
Yes, every day. I work out every day.
That's awesome, man.
Every day.
Now you feeling better? Like your joints feeling better? Is it
unbelievably better, man? Good. Unbelievably better. Things are starting to fit different now, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a little room now, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, but there's a little room I got, on my shirts now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's a good sign, man. Keep up the good work. That's awesome. That's
awesome. What, Derek? I mean, you've already, you and Captain Tony have already went on the stream.
What?
And talking trash on the stream about me. Did you see that? You didn't see it, did you, Rob?
We weren't talking trash.
I didn't see
I was getting
Tony asked me a question and I was
getting YouTube assaulted.
What are you talking about? Captain
Right.
Tony asked me a question and all I did was answer his question. Captain Tony said, Derek, would it be okay if I went back down to the Keys without Barrett? And I said, yeah, ditch him. And then Barrett.
Who does that, man? Who does that? You think you know a guy if you go fishing with him. You think you know a guy.
Hey, Captain Tony brought it up. I just asked a question.
Damn. Well, it's a crybaby. Whoa. What is happening here, man?
Now look, we were down there right now. I'm going back down to I'm going to Miami for F1 racing.
Right.
I was told I cannot drive down the Keys and go fishing, when I go down there because it'd be a violation in our friendship. You know what I'm saying? If I go down and go fishing while I'm down in Miami,
I didn't know.
It'd be a violation. Yeah, it'd be a violation. I'm not allowed to go down there, So I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
I will say this though, Barrett. If you wanted to, there's a whole lot of places you can fish from piers, shorelines. Hey, let me tell you something. One thing about Florida, man. Say what you want to say about Florida, the heat, the geriatric nature down there. If you love to fish, you can turn any different direction and find a body of water, whether it's fresh water or salt water to fish in.
The only thing you got to watch out for alligators, though.
That's all right.
That's not all right.
Take you a bet. I saw a video. Here's something funny. I saw a video, and I don't know if this was Florida or not, but it was like an older guy, and a gator was on his property, or he must have lived on like a swamp area, and the gator was coming up to him. The dude had a metal spade shovel. Took that shovel and whacked that gator on the top of the head with it. That gator turned around and hauled butt back in the water, man.
Well, it didn't hurt him though, but yeah, it's kind of shocked him that he got hit. I saw this one thing on social media where this guy was walking his dog without a leash, and one of them little bitty, cute fancy dogs.
Oh yeah.
And the gator came up and grabbed him and took him back in the water. He jumped in the water, grabbed the gator, picked the gator up, and was whooping the gator tail. Got the dog out of the gator's mouth.
And the gator, I know the gator was maybe 4 feet long.
Yeah,
maybe a small gator, but the dog was like a Chihuahua-sized dog. And he took that dog underwater. The dude jumped in, and the first thing I'm thinking is, if that 4-footer is there 7-footer lurking in the shadow?
Absolutely, bro.
Not this dude. This dude jumped in the water, grabbed that gator, brought him up on shore, put his hand in the gator's mouth. Gators have one of the strongest bites per pressure of any animal there is.
Yep.
He put his hand in that gator's mouth, shook that dog out of there, and then threw the gator back in the water. I'm like, dude, you got more gumption than I do.
I'd have been like, Yoki, I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
Yoki, I'm sorry.
Nice knowing you.
And then told his wife a lie about what happened.
I will.
Yeah. I'm with you. And yesterday was National Puppy Day, but yeah, you got to make some choices in life. So the Eagles sign Terrell Edmonds, and he's a 26-year-old safety. Spent his entire career, 2018 to 22, with the Steelers. He was a first-round pick. He was the 28th pick overall. Comes from a great lineage. He and his brothers.
Yep.
Unbelievable athletes. and NFL players. But this is a good player. He's still in his prime, man.
Yeah.
They get him coming over here. I think he's more in the box than he is anything else. But, he's been a starter really since day one, 75 starts during that time for him. Clearly, a need. We talked about it, ironically enough, earlier in the show, how much they needed to upgrade that position.
We talked about it yesterday, Rob. We
Yeah.
talked about it yesterday. We said that I thought I was on the line. I thought he was going to sign back with the Steelers.
Yeah.
They usually don't let their draft picks go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that says something. I don't know. But yeah, 75 starts over the 4-year career.
Big safety too.
5-year career. Yeah. Played 93% of the team's defensive snaps 4 of his 5 seasons. He had 5 career interceptions, 5 career sacks. He had 70 tackles last year, which was less than he usually had. He had 105 tackles in his second season, but his brother is Tremaine Edmonds, just signed a huge deal with the Bears. So I guess there's a connection there. Yeah. So, I mean, you have him, you add Greedy Williams as some depth there, in that secondary. You still have the ability maybe to move Maddox around a little bit if you wanted to kind of go that route. So it gives you some more flexibility, and definitely it's an upgrade from what they had. There's no doubt.
Well, I will say this in all my years of covering Pittsburgh and watching a Steelers team closely. If you start in a Mike Tomlin defense, you got to be a baller, because that's one thing Pittsburgh prides itself on, is being rough, rugged defensive players. But when they let a player go still in his prime, it's always been a red flag to me. Why did you let him go? And so now we got this is going to be swirling in my head until the season starts. Why did they let him go? And I know what's going to happen. We're going to see it from the media guys out there at practice. Oh, Terrell Evans just made a great play, in OTAs and training camp. I'm not buying anything until I see it in the regular season. Is it an upgrade over what they have already in camp? Yes, based on just his experience in the NFL. But when Mike Tomlin lets you go, something's not right. And so I want to see exactly what it was that they didn't like about him any longer, because like you said, he's still in his prime. He's not 31, 32, 33. He's still in the prime of his career.
Absolutely. And he's a bigger safety, he's athletic, runs well, can play, man. He can really play. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I saw him in Devontae Smith's charity softball game this summer. Yeah. Real cool guy, real, reserves type of guy. Really good athlete, man. So, I mean, this is a good sign. I think this is a very, very good sign that they got.
I hope you're right.
So, I mean, right now, I think they can field a pretty good defense. All things being equal, you look at what they have. As of right now, they have a very competitive defense. You know what I'm saying? Probably lacking more so at the linebacker position because of the inexperience there. But they now have experience at the safety position. They can move guys around. Now Avonte Maddox can play that hybrid type of guy. They can put Greedy Williams in.
Well, he's 6'1", 217. Edmonds, good size.
Right, that's what I said. I mean, he's a big dude. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, this is. They can field a competitive defense as of right now.
Yep.
To play going into the season right now.
He's never missed a game due to injury too. So
that's huge.
I mean, he's a durable guy.
But why? But you're right, D-Gun. Why?
Yeah.
Why they let him go? Put your feelers out, man. Put your feelers out.
All right. Okay. All right. Just for you, Mr. Brooks, because you say I'm not nice to you, I'm going to do it just for you.
But you don't look what Jim G says. The Eagles have, the smallest LBs in the NFL, and
they do.
And, they are the smallest in the NFL as far as look at 5'11", but he's 230. Talking about the Kobe D, he's 5, but he's stocky, so 230. But then you look at Morrow. Morrow's 6 foot, but he's only 215. In fact, the safety's bigger than he is.
Dog agrees.
Terrell Edmonds is the same size as our starting safety.
Well, I just think
our starting defense. I mean, our starting linebacker.
But the only, and I'll keep emphasizing this, this is what it looks like right now. We're not even into April. Right. I mean, there's going to be more moves coming. They freed up some money today with Lane with his restructure. This is going to give them some flexibility to keep adding. This is not what it's going to look like once it gets started.
Right.
There's going to be a lot more coming, not to mention the draft.
But see, this is a destination point now. This just goes with what I've been saying. Terrell probably could have went somewhere else. You know what I mean? He probably could have went somewhere else or even signed back with the Eagles. But this is a destination point for free agents because they have the capacity to win. They can win here, and they love how they treat their players here. So you're not going to find many places where teams, guys will go to teams on the low because he's looking for a championship, man.
Yeah. Well, that's one move. They made the move earlier today with Lane Johnson, and they make the move to sign Terrell Edmunds here. So Eagles adding some firepower, that's for sure, and certainly upgrading a position of need, which will give them flexibility to be able to, from a draft standpoint, to not fall into that trap like we talked a little bit earlier about, where you just have to take, players of need, more than anything else. So yeah, he started 15 games last year, 5 passes defended, 70 tackles. He is a guy that's not afraid to blitz him. He had a couple of 2 sacks, 3 pressures, and 10 blitzes. So that's something you may see him do as well. It's a 1-year deal. They have Reed Blankenship. They added Justin Evans, if you remember, too. In free agency. So he's there. So we'll see what ends up happening. I like it. Actually, I like it. We're hoping at 2:00. Derek, any word from
he claims he's going to find himself a nice, safe spot to stop and join us. He also threw out there, "Oh, I didn't know this was video too." I said, "What did I tell you?" See, this is why current and former football players drive me nuts. They hear what they want to hear. It's like you're talking to see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about right there. There you go. I was like, okay, so you're on Central Time. Don't forget, it's 1:00 your time, 2:00 our time. He goes, oh, I'm like, okay. I'm like, so keep your fingers crossed. I believe it's going to happen. I can't 100% guarantee it.
Yes.
So 1:00, it'll be 1:00 for me, right? Not 2:00. You said 2:00.
If I was close to you get 5 across the back of the head.
Knuckle sandwich.
I thought you said 2:00. It ain't 2:00 here.
Oh,
I said 1:00 Central Time. I'm in Eastern Time. Eastern Time is 2:00 for me.
But I do get that a lot. Like I'm on camera. I'm like, yeah, we're sending you a link. It's a YouTube show. Yes, you're going to be on. I mean, but yeah, so that's all right. It's part of what we deal with. That's for sure. So I did want to sneak in a little bit of Sixers before Pinkston. They go on a road trip where they play at Golden State, at Phoenix tonight and tomorrow. Monday, they take on the Joker, which could be I think it'd be interesting to see what Embiid, how he dials up for that one. With the MVP. If he plays. Yeah, with the MVP thing very much in the balance right now, hanging in the balance, because you have Embiid with the calf, you have Harden with the Achilles, and you have McDaniels dealing with a hip. So they go out there pretty banged up, starting tonight. But Golden State's a totally different team at home than they are on the road. So this is going to be tough. And then you get, the Suns and Durant tomorrow, and then, Sunday or Monday.
How can Golden State be the best team at home and the worst team on the road? That just blows my mind that they're that inept. And they got a rare road win the other night in Dallas. I believe won by 2 points in Dallas. But they can't win to save their lives. They're like 7-29 on the road and 29-7 at home, something crazy like that. I just can't figure this team out to save my life, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. I would be worried about them in the playoffs, but maybe they're trying to tell us who they are here with the way that they play.
The thing is, and Barrett and I talked about this yesterday, and we had Derek Botner on yesterday. They have 10 games left. All 10 games are against teams that are seeded 10th or higher in the playoffs. They face the 2 number 1 seeds in both Milwaukee and Denver in that stretch. Yep. They also face the number 2 seed in Boston. And they're jockeying for positions. They're a half game behind Boston, 3 behind Milwaukee. But you've got to load manage your 2 prime players, Harden and Embiid, because and I said it yesterday, Barrett, and all of a sudden it pops up. You look at how freakish Embiid gets injured a lot of times.
Yes.
Okay, he goes down Monday, he grabs that quad, calf against Chicago, and you're wondering, and sure enough, Doc Rivers says I'm not worried about him, but do you throw him back in there tonight? If it is that, if it's one of those nagging things, do you throw him back in there tonight? Do you give him extended time and let him wait until the next game? With Harden, so I saw people on social media, the Sixers mismanage his load management, and I just think Harden is of that age, where these little things happen,
Yep.
And it's hard to sit him down. He's not a kind of guy that wants to sit down. He wants to play. But you know how it is. You got to protect some players from themselves, so to speak. How do you load manage this sprint now to the finish line as you jockey for position?
It's a tough call. And these guys being a little bit banged up feeds into every Sixers fan's greatest nightmare, is that they're going to get to the playoffs limping and unable to to give you everything they can give you. That's the scary thing. But yeah, I mean, you're right, Derek. They're right there. I mean, if you look at it, so they go into play today, do the Sixers in the standings. They're only 3 games back. They're a half game back of the Celtics for second and 3 back Milwaukee. They do play both of those teams with 10 left to play. So there's a lot to play for here, man, in terms of
awful lot. Yep.
And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens here. They're 49-23 on the season. There's only those 10 games left. Here's the other question I have. I feel like we're in the same boat again, not just the injuries, but also is there enough of a bench? I mean, how much can you put on Embiid and Harden? And with this, as inconsistent as Tobias can be sometimes, you're asking a lot of those guys.
Well, that's what we talked about yesterday. We talked about, do you sit these guys, start load man? Because everybody right now is saying, all right, we need to be number 2 in the East. We don't need to, put ourselves in position to play any of the, the top 2. When you're talking about the Celtics or you're talking about Milwaukee. Me, I'm under the inkling that I'd rather just play, the young guys, get them some reps. But the biggest thing, I want to go into this playoffs, the playoffs healthy. That's the biggest thing. Health-wise, I don't care who we played in, because if we have a healthy squad, we can beat any of these teams. But if we're not healthy, it doesn't matter where we're placed, in who we're playing. Because if you're not healthy, you're not gonna be able to play and really capitalize on what you've done throughout capitalize what you've done throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
You just won't be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I need that. I need that. So that's just I keep saying it, but I just need health. So I don't want to be hurt, man. That's the biggest thing.
I agree. Look, I'm with you. It's very tempting to play both of them in all 3 of these games. It's especially tempting to play Embiid against Joker, and I'm sure Embiid wants to play against Joker.
Exactly,
and that's going to be a real tough decision. If they're, my guess is Embiid plays tonight. Sits Phoenix, plays Monday. If I had to guess, he may play all 3, but if there's going to be a night off, I would think it's probably tomorrow.
If there was a game that I would give him off, it would be this game tonight. If you're dealing with that calf, only because Golden State, as inconsistent as they are the epitome of a track meet team. They're up and down the court. Joel's going to have to get up and down the court a lot quicker than he will against most teams that he faces. And with that said, you always run that risk of tweaking that thing again. You run the risk no matter who you're going to face, but you have more spots against other opponents where you can kind of jog up and down and get in position. This team forces the issue, especially at home, in terms of the pace of a game. And if I was coaching, I would have him sit this game, and then it would be a game-to-game scenario in terms of who he plays against for the rest of the way.
Yeah. This has to go even above Doc. I think this has got to be a Daryl Morey call as well.
Ooh,
on how what they end up doing here, because it's a tough balance with the seeding. It's a tough balance with the teams that they're playing. These are kind of marquee games, and also Embiid's going to want to play certainly in that game Monday. And you got to think ahead that, okay, we know he's going to want to play in that, so let's at least get him one here. I'm more worried. Like, I think I really truly believe that the Embiid thing was, they're rolling Chicago. If it gets close, maybe we'll throw him back in.
Yep.
We're going to be careful with this. Harden's the one. I mean, I hear like Achilles, and I know it's not a tear, but You know, that feels like it's a precursor to something bad going on.
So don't say that. Don't say that.
No, I'm not. I do worry about that a little bit.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well, you know, Achilles are shady too. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing about Achilles, because they're lingering injuries. That, you know, when you talk about Achilles knees, lingering things that just stay around, and they, you know, even like, you know, when you talk about, you know, your groin muscle and hamstrings, those tissue injuries linger and linger and linger. You got to let them fully heal up. So that's when you just hope these things heal up before these 10 games are over with.
Yep. All right, let's get one in. Let's come back. We may have Todd Pinkston. If we don't have Todd, we'll do NFL talk. There's plenty to discuss. You never know. There's plenty to discuss, including this weird Lamar Jackson situation, Tom Brady in the news. Will Levis has his pro day. We'll hit it all when we come back.
Nelson Aguilar's on the move.
Nelson Aguilar's on the move. All of those things when we come back. He's Derek. He's Barrett. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Flynn Tree Services. Yes, Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted tree off of your property. They're experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. You go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today, and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
My name is Fran Salerno, and I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Rob Ellis, Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn. Hope to be joined soon by Todd Pinkston. Todd is the new running backs coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. He gets to reunite with his old coach, Andy Reid. So we're looking forward to hanging out with Todd. I know we're working on things, right, Gunnar? We're getting there.
From what I'm told, they have audio but not video. So they're trying to get his video corrected. So we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, there he is. Okay, I think we're. I think we have the man himself, and he's kind enough to join us while he's traversing the world, driving around there.
Oh, there he is.
That would be
what up, bro?
Todd Pinkston, who was an Eagle from 2000 through 2005, and has now joined the coaching ranks in the NFL. Todd, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. Good to see you, man.
Always good to see y'all, man. You know, it's always an honor when you get invited to a show after the years that I've been out of the league, but I appreciate it, though.
Well, you know, there's one part of me that says I'm somewhat surprised that you're coaching in the NFL, but in knowing what I know about you, you've always talked about coaching in some capacity, and you have gone through the ranks. Tell people about your coaching background, if you will, because you're obviously your NFL career was cut short by that Achilles injury, and then all of a sudden you didn't waste much time getting into the coaching ranks.
Well, I think you know, I just pick it back off my dad. My dad was a high school coach, and following him around everywhere, regardless of what sport it was, from football, basketball, to track. You know, it dawned on me. It was like, man, I think I want to do this growing up. So after I retired from NFL, you know, it was a passion for me to just get into coaching, mentor kids, and any feedback that I could give growing kids that's growing up right now. That's what I try to do, and I strive for it. So, I mean, make a long story short, you know, just get an opportunity to coach high school and coaching at Austin Peay State University, going back to a high school, doing internships with NFL. It was just in me to wanting to coach and I grind to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah, Todd, you interned with correct me if I'm wrong, with the Eagles in 2009. So you've really paid your dues, man. You weren't kidding. Like some guys, it feels like they retire and they get a gig right away. You really did it the hard way, man. You interned, like you said, high school, Austin Peay, and now you finally get your shot. Was there ever a point where you're like, man, you know, this isn't happening overnight, or this isn't going to happen for me? I might have to change course. Did you ever lose any faith?
Well, it was always that knack for, man, what am I doing wrong? Why I'm not getting the opportunity? It was just a timing and place and stay humble. Staying humble, meaning, you know, for me, it's just like my time was going to come when it came, and it's just opportunity that came up. Coach Reed gave me a call, you know, after interning with him this past summer. I guess to see the hard work that I put in throughout the course of training camp. He saw he knew my goal. He knew what I wanted to do, and I always kept in contact with him. So just coaching at a high school this past year, keeping in contact with all the coaches, and it just paid away for me. And then what could be more perfect timing for this opportunity.
You know, when you look at coaching, you know, from the wide receiver position, running back position, you know, tight end position, all those are kind of, you know, interchangeable as far as, you know, what techniques are and stuff like that. You know, how'd you get in with the running backs as opposed to going to receiver?
Well, at the end of the day, Coach Andy Reid just told me, I know you know receiver, but learning a different position would help me out in the long run. That's one thing that I pride myself on, is always learning, always trying to sharpen my iron, regardless of what position. If it was tight end, O-line, D-line, or whatever, just getting the opportunity to coach.
Right.
It's always something I love to do. Just like any other job. If it's something that you already know, I won't try to find something new, a new challenge. And so this is just a new challenge for me, a great opportunity, especially on this stage.
Hey, Todd, you talked about your dad being instrumental in your coaching down in Mississippi. Can you tell us what David Culley and your former teammate Greg Lewis meant to you in terms of getting that passion to coach?
Oh, you repeat that, Gunn?
Yeah. Can you tell us what David Culley and Todd and Greg Lewis have meant to you in terms of you following this coaching path?
Greg Lewis?
Yeah, and David Culley.
Oh yes, I speak with Coach Cully probably twice a month, and talk to Greg Lewis a lot. Those guys have inspired me, especially Coach Cully. He the one who wanted me to get into it. I guess he saw a vision in what I had in me. It just inspired me to want to get into coaching, keeping in contact with my contacts, and as for Greg leading the way for me as far as getting in the coaching race because he and I were teammates with the Eagles. So again, the opportunity to intern with Kansas City, and he was there, kind of like inspired me even more because he was a running back coach the last couple of years, and him playing receiver, and it showed that if you wanted to get it done, you can get it done, regardless of what position it is.
And you stepping into a pretty good spot here, Todd. Yeah, the Super Bowl champs, man. This is it's pretty nice. You're not digging your way out of some, the basement there in the NFL. You're in the penthouse.
Well, it's a high expectation. So I'm going in with full head of steam, willing to learn, willing to get better. Like I said, continue to sharpen my iron, and let's see what's going to happen.
Man, you're in Kansas City, man. Let me tell you something about Kansas City, bro. Go get you some barbecue, number one.
Oh, yeah. I heard that too.
Gates.
and number two, man, out there, that's the best thing going out there right now are the Kansas City Chiefs, man. And, it's going to be cool you being out there. I just want to make sure, man, when you go out there, man, act like you still know B. Brooks, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when I come out to visit my family, man, I just want to make sure you don't act like you know me. All right, man? Just remember me. All right, bro?
Well, how about this? How about you just show me around once you get out there? You come out there, and then I can go.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Hey, Todd, I'm curious, man. You spent, as we mentioned right off the top, you were here as an Eagle for 6 seasons, some really successful run, for that Eagles team, including getting to that Super Bowl in '39. What are your memories of your time here and playing for the Birds?
Well, if I'm always thinking back to my rookie year, actually coming out when teams and people said I couldn't get the job done because of my frame, and just coming in and the work ethic that I had, I think it led into the becoming a starter my second year in the league, and the years that I had going up against Troy Vincent, Al Harris, Bobby Taylor, going against those guys every day gave me confidence to know that I could go against anybody because they were the top guys in the league at that time. So getting confidence from that, and going to an environment that's that fan base is going to be with you, and they're going to be with you through thick and thin. It gave me a confidence to know that I can play on that level, and my actions spoke for itself.
Todd, I remember when you suffered that Achilles injury in 2005. And, you try to come back. The Eagles had to let you go. You tried to come back with Washington, I believe it was. And that didn't work out. I mean, it's been a long time ago, but does it still bother you that you had to leave the game before you really wanted to, and it wasn't on your terms?
Yes, I always think about that. And I tell my son about this a few months ago. When you get that opportunity to take advantage of it, because you never know, you can be there one day and you be out the league the next. But not going out on my own terms, it kind of hurt me, but it kept me humble. It kept me humble to know that 5 to 6 years in the league was a lot better than some people that didn't get the opportunity to have the same years that I had. So I think back on it, but I don't regret it, because Coach Reed gave me that opportunity to be a part of something special, and the years that I had there with the team that we had, I can never forget those moments.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference 2023, Todd, versus the 23 years ago when you broke in terms of players, the game? What are the big differences that you see now?
Well, if those guys think about it, our training camp was brutal. Guys had tour days, sweat and tears. First 6 days of training camp was one of the hardest days that I had growing up. But I think Troy Vincent is in the National Football Leagues is taking care of guys a lot more now than we had back in the past. So I think it's a different generation. Guys playing a little longer, guys taking care of their bodies a lot more. And then, like I said, the National Football League is actually taking care of those guys a lot more now than back then.
Is that the biggest difference that you see? What's the difference between athletes back when we played and coaching these guys you have right now? What's the biggest difference on how you approach these younger guys?
Right now, regardless of what level you play on, guys always figure that they always done made it to the next level. So in high school, guys already think they're in college. Guys in college already think they're in the league. In National Football League, they think they can't get better. So that's one of the challenges that, you have as far as coaching-wise, or just make sure them guys not pick it too soon because, you're always going to have a chance to get better at the next level, regardless if it's you're in NFL, well, let's get a chance to go to a Pro Bowl, get a chance to go to a Super Bowl. So you always have those challenges in front of you. And I think the generation finally realizing that, it's not a cakewalk, but if you do your part, then great things will happen for you.
Hey, Todd, anytime I look at players, and I've been doing this for so long, I always say, what, this guy looks like he could coach. That guy, I don't know about. You were such a nice guy. I never thought you would be a coach. And now you're coaching guys that get paid more than you do. Do you have that dark side? Sometimes you just got to get up in a player's face to get their attention. Do you have that dark side where you can be a nice guy? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's my hidden secret. That's what people didn't know. But I have it in me. Like I said, I'm not the kind that get in guys' face. I'm not the kind that curse a lot. I can get my point across on certain things in any given situation. So I'm a guy that'll pull you to the side, ask the why, explain yourself why you do it, and let's correct it as it goes. So this generation is lack thereof or not doing it as much because I'm not the guy that's going to get in your face because at the end of the day, you still got to show the love to the guy that you're coaching. So I'm one of those laid-back guys that's going to get my point across without getting in your face and whooping and hollering because at the end of the day, you still got to do your job and I have to do mine as well.
Ooh, that's why I say I can't coach in the league because I'm cussing somebody out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm cussing somebody out. Oh, you've been here before, huh?
Some guys need it though. Some guys need it, but I know I can get my point across without doing that though.
Right.
Todd, I'm sure you keep an eye, even though you're a Chief now, but you keep an eye on the Eagles. What do you think about Jalen Hurts? What do you think about this offense, these receivers, this Eagles squad that we have here?
I'm always watching them. And I still have a great fan base. Guys still hit me up. Just because I'm with the Eagles, that don't mean I don't still have that Eagle spirit in my heart because they were the guys that gave me the opportunity to come there. But what they have going up there is something special. Getting the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl with Devontae going into his second year, and the acquisition of Brown and that defense that they had, and the offense is very explosive. They're doing great things over there in Philadelphia. Yes, I watch them, but at the end of the day, you still got to do your job wherever you at.
Who are some of the former teammates outside of Greg Lewis that you still keep close contact with?
Oh man, do you really want to know that? No, I still talk to Brian Westbrook. We still conversate on a weekly basis or a 2-week basis. I talk to Hugh Douglas, who is up there in Philadelphia right now. He was in Atlanta. I talk to Dorsey Levens, Billy McMullen, Corey Simon every now and then. I actually talked to Corey Detmer. Got a chance to meet his son the other day at Mississippi State.
Oh, duck meat.
Oh, wow.
Duck meat.
Duck meat. You know about duck meat.
Those are a few guys that still keep in contact with on a consistent basis.
Nice. All right. Well, listen. When do everything start cracking? Are you in Kansas City now? When do you get started with everything?
No, I get started on Monday.
Okay.
I get started on Monday. I'm doing some stuff right now. doing a little traveling, and I'll be heading back up on Monday. Yes, Monday. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Todd, well, listen, man, we
Cool,
appreciate
man.
you hopping on, and best of luck, except when you're playing the Eagles. We wish you all the best.
Well, I always said, my son was trying to tell me, like, Dad, I'm a traitor. But I was like, no, it's the difference in being a Kansas City Chief and the Eagles. Yes, Al got drafted there and worked for the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's all about fly, Andy, fly. That's the thing
There
about
you
it.
go.
So
Okay,
there
you
both ways. So,
well said. Todd, listen, man, all the best. Thanks for hopping on for a couple minutes.
Thank you, man.
Man, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Todd. Good luck with
Absolutely.
everything.
Be safe, brother, and good luck
Thanks.
to you.
Thanks,
Yep.
man. Good guy, Todd, for sure. All right, let's hit a couple NFL notes here, guys. This one's weird. So the NFL yesterday sent out a memo saying basically don't do any business in terms of negotiating with a guy named Ken Francis because he's not licensed through the NFLPA.
Yeah.
He's not certified. You're thinking, what's this all about? And there's word that he was reaching out to teams on behalf of Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson denies it. Ken Francis denies it. But the league felt the need to put this out for some reason with this guy. Now, he is tied to Lamar in the sense that they both have a business venture of theirs. This gym equipment that like mobile gym equipment basically is what it is. You can bring this stuff around and you're not just tied to a gym where you do it. But I don't know. It's just another weird layer on the whole Lamar Jackson thing. Like what is really going on there?
That's bro. Go ahead and get you an agent, man. Stop playing around, bro.
Yes.
I don't understand it. You're not talking about like me. I mean, I represented myself my last 2 years. Right. And the reason I was able to do that because I knew I was going to get the veteran minimum. So why am I going to pay an agent 3% of my contract when I know they're going to give me the rookie. I mean, they're going to give me the vet minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sign a contract, vet minimum, boom. Everything's done. I know what I'm going to get. No need to pay anybody else, So we're talking about over $100, $200 million. Stop playing, bro. Stop playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars, guarantees, all that stuff, bro. Get somebody who knows what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's very basic. You don't have a policeman going there on a fire truck trying to put out fires. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You just don't do that.
Well said. Yeah. Interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
Right. Allow them to do their job. Mm-hmm. Allow them to do their job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd be like Howie Roseman trying to come down and teach a bucket step on a pass set. He's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to leave that to the professional.
Yeah. I also
just like D Gun trying to tell me
what?
How to fish.
Oh.
Leave it to the no.
Oh, I know you didn't go there. I know you didn't go there. Hey, you know what? That was a good one, B. Brooks. See, that one is another in the long line of B. Brooks. B. Brooks gets his shot in every chance he gets. But
that caught you off guard. You weren't ready for that.
You did.
One.
I was like, where's he going with this?
Yeah.
What's he?
Yeah. I was like, whoa, what? Wait, what?
I will say this, though. Players representing themselves in the NFL is not a rarity.
No.
Now, if you go back, Edgerrin James is the one who started this craze, representing himself. But when you look at some of the more prominent names that have played this game, Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, DeAndre Hopkins, Laramie Tunsil, Richard Okung, those guys represented themselves and it worked out fine. So it's not like Lamar. I don't know if the approach he's taking is the problem, but it's not like players are not smart enough to represent themselves.
Right. We understand that.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but some people do try to step in and start speaking for their boys when they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. So I'm assuming, and I don't know anything about Lamar Jackson. Don't know him, never met him, never talked to him. Yeah. The only thing I've ever heard from him is what you see on TV. I'm assuming for him to take this approach that he has done his homework in terms of what needs to be done to get a fair contract negotiated with a pro NFL organization. Mm-hmm. But you're right. There seems to be there seems to be some roadblocks here that just don't make sense with this. And Gigi Meta talking about D-Gun just said Lamar stupid. No, I didn't. I said I'm assuming he's smart enough to do it. See, people ain't paying attention. Didn't I just say I'm assuming he's smart enough to do this? He's done his homework. Okay, so enough of that mess. But this is off base, in terms of length. We felt back in December, based on volumes of work and what we've seen quarterbacks get, that Lamar was right in there in terms of being one of the higher paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. And now you see he's got to play under this franchise tag, which is what, $32 million?
Yep.
And I'm still assuming Baltimore is going to get this done. They're going to get this done somewhere. But I never thought it would take this long to take care of a Lamar Jackson.
Right. And that's what makes me, I'm just fishy. This stuff gets done, but look, you never know. You never know. Couple other things. This one's interesting. The NFL is considering having the ability to flex out Thursday night games. So it's you guys remember last year. I mean, they were garbage games.
The worst. Yeah,
just,
they were.
Yeah, just terrible, right? And Prime has the games now. Amazon Prime took it over, but I remember Al Michaels was on the air basically openly mocking the games. They weren't even pretending. It was crazy. So last month, Roger Goodell mentioned the idea of flexing the schedule for Thursday night, and the owners are now set to formally discuss it. Apparently, this is according to the Business Sports Journal. So that'll be interesting if they end up doing that. It's tricky a little bit how they're going to do it. They would, I guess, specifically the measure awaiting the owners would permit the league to shift Sunday afternoon games to Thursday night games in weeks 14 through 17 with 15 days notice. So it wouldn't be like that Sunday to that Thursday. You'd have it like, a week or two in advance. Schedule teams for Thursday games after a previous Sunday game twice in the same season. So you only do it twice, up from the current limit of one.
It just gives us better games,
Right.
The quality of the game sometimes is just horrible. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, Thursday night, that's the Thursday night games are put on by who now?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon. Well, Amazon is like, yo, you can't give us these BS games. You got to give us something that we can go out there and push the product with. You can't ask us, to have these sorry games. So I mean, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. And plus it gives an opportunity for the teams that deserve to be on the good games to be highlighted, and showcased on Thursday night. Thursday night is now football night for me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's football night is Sunday. It's actually Thursday, Sunday, and Monday for me now.
Yeah.
The NFLPA is going to have something to say about this.
Oh, for sure.
You know this is not going to go down well with the NFLPA.
Yeah.
They don't like Thursday night games as it is.
Now you could have two.
Now you could have two.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah, they're not going to be happy about that.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Not at all.
It should be interesting. So a couple other things. Nelson Aguilar is headed to the Ravens. He will be playing for John Harbaugh and crew. He's bounced around quite a bit the last few years.
Still getting paid, man. Collecting checks. That just means he's collected checks from many owners. That's all.
$3.25 million for this deal. It's not bad.
And they lack receivers, so he'll get some opportunities for sure. So he goes there. DJ Chark goes to the Panthers from the Lions last year. They're another team that needs receivers in a bad way.
We need receivers. We need at least a third down receiver. Nobody's talking about it, but we need a third down receiver. We don't have one right now.
Yeah,
we don't have
Pascal signed elsewhere, and Quez ain't that guy.
Dude, look at what Carolina is doing in terms of signing players and coaching staff. Right now, they have a little bit of everything except a quarterback. But Carolina's put themselves in a nice position on both sides of the ball. They made some pretty decent moves. DJ Chark is a good pass receiver.
Yep.
And all you need is a quarterback now. They've got some pass catchers down there. They got a frontline running back. They got some defensive players. I love the fact, Frank Reich is down there. He's quarterback guru, whoever they decide to take. You've got one of the best running back coaches in the NFL in Deuce Staley. You got
with good running backs.
With good running backs. You got one of the best offensive minds as a special assistant in Jim Caldwell down there now. Carolina's in a nice position right now if they figure this quarterback thing out.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're not in the NFC East. You know, they can do some damage in that division.
And that's it right there. You know, they have an opportunity to be good because they know they're in a conference. I mean, a division that sucks. So when you look at it, man, even if they do have a rookie, I mean, they have players around him that can sustain a rookie quarterback.
Right.
You have a good set of receivers out there that can help them out. You have a good running game with a running backs that can go out there and play. I mean, you know, get a defense that could, you know, kind of keep things going. This could be a very interesting division, you know, for the Panthers to be in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do there. The tush push will survive this year. That is a given. It will at least be around for one more year. That's good news for the Eagles. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's when the Eagles or other teams have a
sneak, man.
QB sneak and guys from behind push, basically. That's what it amounts to. So that is going to stay in at least for one more year until these weasels don't like that the Eagles are having success with it. And
these weasels.
And try to get rid of it like they
that's
always
a
do.
true Philadelphian right there.
They are
right,
weasels.
right. Every once in a while, he lets that leak out in him.
Every once in a while, it sneaks out. Yeah.
Well, you know, Nick Sirianni said it best the other day when he was on Jason Kelsey's New Height podcast. He says, "Why is it fair for the defense to push? The linebackers come up, safeties come. Why is it okay for them to push, but not for us?"
Yeah.
And he said, "It's not like we just do a push. We have other variations we run off of this as well, and you're going to see more of it this upcoming season." So I think, you know, what's good for one is good for the other.
Agreed. 100% agreed. This one, tell me what you guys think of this. So it's a rule that's already in college football. It's basically a fair catch for a kickoff. So you could field it say you could catch the ball at the 5 and rule for a fair catch on a kickoff, and you get the ball at the 25 automatically.
No,
it's another measure to try to, you know, ensure player safety. But what do you guys think?
I see it happening in college football. It kind of threw me off at first when I first saw it. You fair catch it that way. If you know these teams that try to pooch kick it up in the air, and then you get it at a certain place in the line of scrimmage. It was kind of crazy when I first saw it because I didn't really quite understand what it was. But I mean, I didn't see anything bad with it. I mean, I didn't see anything that I would, you know, say I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It is what it is. They're trying to force teams. They want to really take that aspect out of the game. They don't want any kickoffs really. So to keep from the kickoff, because they are the most deadly plays in the NFL. I remember when I was playing there, I used to be in the wedge.
Yeah.
We used to actually make a wedge, 4 offensive linemen, and have a guy behind us catching the ball. We all set up at a certain place, and we just run forward, just bulldoze people coming down. Then they had like kamikaze guys running down and launching themselves at us, bro.
Gosh.
It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Let me tell you a quick story. We had this little DB, man. He playing with us. I forget his name. What was his name? Barry Whitmore, something like that. Well, he played with me, you know, my first, 2 years in the league. Now, Barry was a little guy. He was like he was tall.
Was it Wilburn?
Barry Wilburn. Barry Wilburn. That's his name. So Barry Wilburn, he'd have to set the wedge. So wherever he was, we run over there to set the wedge. I'm on one side of him, and they had another offensive lineman on the other side of him. And wherever he went, we ran over there. He set the ball. When the ball came down, we'd grab him. We'll lock arms. And when we lock arms like that, he'd have both of us arms. We'd have his arm locked up on one side, and the other guy have that locked up. So he's sitting there and he's running with us going forward. So we'd have we had this dude named Corey Schlesinger. He played for for the Lions.
He was a Nebraska kid. Yeah,
fullback.
Yeah,
he come full speed running down. We used to call him Ram Man. Like he's right about to get me. As soon as he's about to hit me, bam! He'd hit where Barry Wilburn, man. Bam! And light him up.
Oh.
It got to like the 4th time, we're on kickoff because we're whooping Detroit's tail. You know what I'm saying? It's that playoff game.
Yeah.
It got to the point that the second to last time we had Barry in there, he run down again, coming straight at me. All of a sudden, bam! He hit Barry, and the only thing that was keeping Barry up was we had his arms like this. He was actually knocked out. He wasn't even conscious, bro. We're holding him in the air like this. It's like we were sitting holding him. We're sitting there looking at him. He is totally knocked out, bro. He is unconscious, man. I'm like, bro, what did we just do to him?
Yeah, right.
We got this guy killed, man. we put him back on the ground. They had to come get him and everything, man. It was crazy.
Wow.
Lighten him up, man.
Hey, B, when you were on kickoff team, when you would collide, was your helmet going ping, 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 taking all them hits to the head and stuff?
Bro, I got a mark right here on my nose. One of those times Corey didn't go over and hit the guy. He hit me. He split my nose from here all the way to here.
Man. How many
and
stitches?
When he hit me, I fell on top of him. Boom, I fell on top of him. And the only reason why he didn't knock me over, because, he just wasn't as big as I was. Gravity took over, and I fell on top of him because I was knocked out. And when I came to, I was only out for like two or 3 seconds. But when I came to, he was pushing me. Brooksy, get off me, man. You're bleeding on me, man. Get off me. Because my nose was leaking like a sieve, dog. It was just leaking on me. Man, you're getting blood all over me, man. Get off me, man. I was like, yo, he knocked me cold out. Man, I was out cold, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I got up, ran to the huddle. You know what I'm saying? Because we had the ball. I was starting left tackle.
Yeah.
We're back to the huddle. Like, hey, man, how's my face look, man? He's like, dang, bro, look at your face. I got blood coming down my face. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there fighting Robert Porcher, bro. That's why everybody talks about that game like they love that game. I didn't love that game, man, because I was fighting for my life, bro. Everybody else is having a great time. I'm fighting for my life, bro. You know what I'm saying? The whole time.
Every time you tell a story, there's so many more reasons now why I understand who you are, what you say, and what you do.
What does that mean, Derek?
It means I have more compassion for you now than I did 6-7 years ago.
That's another one of his backhanded compliments.
Right.
You know what? Like to say, I understand now.
Oh my God! All right. So Tom Brady has bought a stake in a WNBA team, the Las Vegas Aces. He will be one of the minority owners for the Aces. He's always been a big supporter of women's sports. I give him props. He's done that for years now, and he's got a piece of the WNBA team. So one of the things Tom Brady's doing. You see, Giselle had it was like Vanity Fair or something. Did a little sit down about their, the breakup of their marriage. I thought it was interesting. One of the things she said was, and this is where I give her props, she still, got his back in this sense. She said, regarding the loss of the Cowboys, like he had no offensive line, basically. What did you want him to do? Like she is still in that mindset of
right. Yeah,
Tom needs protection. So it was pretty funny.
And there's evidently there's been some things where they're they're secretly kind of trying to get back together or something like that, man.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying what I've heard.
Hey, once I'm gone, I'm gone. This is it.
Well, see, it's they're like like rekindling things or maybe not rekindling things, something like that. It says something like that. I don't know what it is.
Okay, all right. Well, that's them. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
But if it gets to a point in a marriage where you go your separate ways, why do you want to make a detour and go back there?
Well, Derek, you went your separate way from me many a times, and I keep bringing you back.
We ain't married, man.
Yeah. No. All right.
This is a bond of necessity.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting week with the quarterback. So you had CJ Stroud, you had Bryce Young earlier in the week. Bryce Young was yesterday, and now today you have Will Levis from Kentucky holding his pro day. I don't know. Every video I see is from all three of them. They just look great against air. I don't know how much you're really going to get out of these things, but I guess you got to do it. It's part of the dog and pony show if you're these guys.
Yep. You this is where you make your money at, man. This is where you have the competitive edge of working out in your home facility where you're comfortable, on the field that you're comfortable with, in an environment that you're very comfortable with. The nerves that you have when you're at the combine is unbelievable. It's crazy how much of your nerves and you just got all this anxiety and everything else going through your mind, going through your body. Your body almost locks up, at times, So the combine, you're in a different place. You have, when you're back in your home place, your home stadium, your home field, your home grass you've run on, you just have a better feeling about your workout and what you're going to do. So, I mean, it's better to work out at home as opposed to anywhere else.
Yeah, I think with those guys, it is going to be interesting. Certainly Carolina holds the cards there, what they end up doing. But if you want to look at it, we could look at the draft order here and see how we think it plays out for the top 10, because the Eagles are picking 10 as of right now if they don't trade that pick. That is the order. So let's look at it. So let's just guess Carolina. Do they go Stroud or do they go Bryce Young?
I think CJ Stroud is the number 1 pick. He likes bigger quarterbacks. He's bigger. To me, that's what I'm getting. That's where
I sort of think that too. It sort of feels like that for me. And then the Texans would go then with Bryce Young.
Yep, and he's more. I mean, I would say he's more accurate. Also, to me, he's more accurate. Somebody else might have a whole different, thought process, but I think he's more accurate. I think he's the, conventional drop back quarterback. In my eyes, that's what I see.
What do you think, Derek?
I think it's a slam dunk. They go Stroud, but I also say, when was the last time a great quarterback came out of Ohio State?
Yeah.
Think about that. Okay.
Ooh.
Ohio State quarterbacks put up these incredible numbers in college, and they get to the pros, and it's like they become also-rans. You look at the history of quarterbacks from the Art Schleisters on up that have come out of Ohio State. Think about it. They might have
something going on in with the Bears right now.
Justin Fields. And the Bears are doing a nice job of surrounding that dude with talent. Better on defense. I mean, they got Tremaine Edwards. They got T.J. Edwards. They're building that defense, and they're getting better pass catchers. So this is Justin Fields' year to shine, But until we see it, I put Justin Fields, and it's not against him. It's because that organization has done such a poor job of surrounding him with talent, offensive line, a defense that can make stops. But now, being $100 million under the cap and spending their money, it looks like they're getting better on paper. Now you got to go out and play the game. But until further notice, look at the history of Ohio State quarterbacks. They have not made good NFL quarterbacks. I think C.J. Stroud has the makeup, the arm strength, the athleticism to be the next one, but I got to see it.
Yeah. I think both can play. I do worry about the size with Bryce Young. Not so much. I just worry about him holding up. I think they'll figure out a way to have him. He can make plays, but just he's skinny too. On top of being not the biggest guy in the world, but he's good, man. I think the Cardinals end up going Will Anderson, Bama kid. But
I put Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, you could go there, corner.
Wait. Say it again.
Arizona. He said Will Anderson. I said Christian Gonzalez.
I think they're gonna trade out of that pick, man.
Okay. Possible.
I think they'll trade out of that pick, man. So, I mean,
Miguel asked, "Do you think the Eagles could trade back twice?" I think anything's possible, Miguel.
Yep,
I think they could
absolutely.
do it.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit. You move down from 10 for a team that's desperate to get somebody, maybe a quarterback, and then 30 you move into the second round to start to replenish some of those middle picks that they don't have. So I think that absolutely could happen.
Didn't we do that one year already?
Traded twice?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, but I believe they did.
Yeah, I think they traded down twice in the first round with one pick as opposed to two picks, I think.
I know they traded. They traded up to go to number 1 to the number 2 pick, right?
They had to get Wentz. They did.
Yeah, they traded twice to get there.
They did.
Last year, they traded 2 first-round picks, one for
AJ Brown. Yep.
And then they traded another pick to get to the big fella.
To get Davis.
Yeah, to get Davis. So that was two trades right there. Yep. So they've done it a lot.
No doubt. All right, let's.
I think Indy trades up. I think they trade with Indy.
So Indy now. Here's what's interesting. You're Indy, right? Do you grab Richardson or Levis there?
Yeah, I think you trade up to get
Richardson. Richardson? Okay.
Yeah, I would get Richardson. I mean, this guy's big, strong, fast, and he's like that new wave quarterback. Both guys are the new wave quarterback.
For sure.
That they want now. The dual threat quarterbacks. I think both of these guys are. I just think that Richardson is a little more refined than Levis.
Okay.
I don't disagree, but everything I keep saying about is, Richardson has been this guy who's been coming on since the combine.
Mm-hmm.
The wildfire. They've been talking about Levis for a long time about him being the next prototypical quarterback, can make the transition a little bit easier. So that's why when I look at Indy, the best player Indy had on their team next to Jonathan, the running back, was Stephon Gilmore, Jonathan Taylor, and they traded Gilmore. So they definitely need a quarterback. They need a marquee to get people in the seat. I just feel they may lean towards Levis a little bit more than Richardson.
And you say Arizona gets Will Anderson?
No, I said Arizona. I said they're going to go Christian Gonzalez. They need defense.
I said Anderson for them.
Yeah.
I would say Anderson, getting that guy. I mean, pass rusher at that point. And
Since they lost JJ?
Yeah. So I think they would go in that direction. They do need corners, but they got 2 young corners right now.
Right.
They're trying to work their way bumps and bruises out.
We got Seattle at 5. I think they're going offensive line.
I think they like their offensive line because tackles.
What do you think they go then? What do you think they do?
I think Will Anderson will go there.
That's where he lasts to, you think?
I don't. I think they get Jalen Carter. I don't think he makes it out the top 5. I think he's going to be Jalen Carter. All this mess, they just forget about it. They're going to forget everything that happened, and they're going to go with Jalen Carter.
Well, I look at what Seattle's done so far. They picked up linebacker Devin Bush. They picked up Justin Love from the Giants safety. They picked up defensive lineman Draymond Jones. They paid him 3 years, $51 million. They're bringing back Jaron Reed, who they let go, play for Green Bay for 1 year. Now he's going back to Seattle. Mm-hmm. They're loading up on defense. I think they like their offensive nucleus right now to where they're going to load. So for me, it's Anderson or Carter. I put Anderson there.
Okay. Detroit.
I put Carter in Detroit.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Can you imagine Carter opposite
Hutchinson?
Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah. You got some young cats who could be nasty for a long time on that D line.
Well, I already have him going. I already have Carter gone. So I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson, another defensive lineman, Tyree Wilson. He's real nasty from Texas Tech.
Yeah, I like him.
Big nasty guy too. We're thinking the same thing, but same, different
needs.
Different person. Yeah.
All right, we'll go Raiders at 7. Raiders were an awful defensive team last year, but some of this depends on what they have. Jimmy G. They tagged Jacobs. They still have Devontae Adams. I don't love their offensive line, but there's a lot of holes on defense too.
They just picked up tight end Austin Hooper. They picked up Jacoby Myers.
Yep.
They just picked up Philip Dorsett. I think the player I put there was, Devin Witherspoon. Their back end of their defense was a sieve.
Yeah.
And they're going to start getting some guys that can run with these gazelles, and I like Witherspoon there for them.
That's good. That's a good choice.
That's a real good choice because I was thinking either him or Gonzalez. I like Gonzalez a lot more than I like than I like Witherspoon. But you're right, man. I think we're thinking the same thing. And I'll go with Christian Gonzalez instead, though.
Here's where it's a little bit interesting. If one of Richardson or Levis is still there and you're Atlanta, you took Desmond Ridder last year, not in the first round, but do you believe enough in him? Do you just let that go? And then if you do that, one of those guys could fall to Tennessee at 11. But they took the kid, Malik Willis last year, the kid out of Liberty.
Yeah.
Relatively high.
Yeah, they did.
Well, the Falcons have already spent like $233 million in free agency.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah, but Jesse Bates, they paid a lot of guys.
Caden Ellis. They picked up Taylor Heineke. Mac Hollins, who's still in the league, is now down in Atlanta.
Yep.
The Jonnu Smith, the tight end, they picked him up. They picked up guard Chris Lindstrom as well. For me, they still need a lot of help on the offensive line. I like the kid out of Northwestern, at Peter Skoronski.
Yeah,
he's considered the best of the old linemen coming out. He's got those, what Barrett calls those Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. He doesn't have the longest arms.
He'll play guard.
Yeah. He's like 6'4", 305, but they keep saying technique-wise, he's the best of the best coming out. I like him going down to Atlanta.
All right, let's move quick because we're up against it a little bit. Bears at 9.
I say they get Justin Fields, another pass catcher. I like the kid, Jackson Smith.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yep.
This kid's supposed to be like exceptional,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he'll be a home run hitter. He didn't run a 40 at the combine. He wouldn't run a 40, but they're saying all the shuttle drills and all the stuff he ran were like wow factors.
Yeah.
So I like this kid, and as much as I hate to give anybody props in that division, I like him there for the Bears.
I like the other receiver from TCU, Quentin Johnston.
Okay.
I'm going Quentin Johnston there. I think he's the number one wide receiver in this draft. Man, like a 4'3", big kid, 6'3", 210. I mean, he's going to be a star. He's a star in the making, man. So I think they go and get him. Next.
Let's go. Let's do it. Eagles.
Joey Porter.
Oh, that's a good pick. That's a good
Joey
pick.
Porter.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to go. I'm not going to go with DB. I'm going to go with the trenches like they usually do. And I'm going to go Miles Murphy from out of Clemson. Miles Murphy.
Okay.
Ooh. I think Jalen Carter falls, and that's where he ends up here.
Ooh.
Well, if that tit for tat, I mean, I want
same position. Yeah.
I want either one of them. I'd be happy with either one of them.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Whatever they get at that spot, more power to them.
Yep. I hear you. All right, let's get it in here, and we'll come back and we'll do some birthdays, some movies, take some chat section questions.
247.
We're a little late. Yeah. So we'll get a quickie in. Derek Barrett, Rob, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Razor Technology, fellas. Yes, and disaster recovery. And by the way, shout out to all the folks at Razor Technology. I was at the Razor's Edge conference the last 2 days, and it was absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Chris McGrath and his crew are just the best. All right. So disaster recovery when it comes to Razor Technology. The middle of an emergency is the wrong time to wonder who is in charge and how to respond. Restoring malfunctioning systems, rebooting complex servers, reconfiguring applications, bringing backups online, and reauthorizing users all takes time. And the longer it takes, the more damage that a business is exposed to. Razor Technology helps growing businesses develop a disaster relief recovery plan that protects all their essential data. Razor ensures all your critical systems are backed up, and that backups are regularly checked to ensure that they can be deployed at a moment's notice. Depend on Razor Technology, your trusted IT managed service provider, to save time and money on your IT and cloud services. Find out if your business is built to recover from a data disaster by calling Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild wood days.
My name is Fran Salerno, and I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
They're carving them up in good and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
All right, we're back. What's up, fellas and ladies? We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, so a couple things, guys. We get the matchups for tonight for the remainder of the Sweet 16, and we roll into the Elite Eight. You have San Diego State against Alabama. You have Miami against Houston. You have Princeton versus Creighton. Xavier versus Texas. They are the matchups for this evening in the Sweet 16. All right, so let's do some birthdays. We will start. Steve McQueen was born on this day, 1930. Great actor. Passed away in 1980. Allison Hannigan, who was in a lot of stuff. How I Met Your Mother, American Pie.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of different stuff. R. Lee Ermey is the guy who was a legitimate Army drill sergeant who became an actor and was in everything from like Full Metal Jacket to a lot of different things. The guy's awesome. Man.
He was great in that movie.
Oh my goodness, perfect, just perfect for that. But he was that guy. You bought it, man. Peyton Manning's 47 today.
Peyton.
He is 47 today. Jim Parsons, who what is he in?
Sheldon Cooper, Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang. Yep. Is 49 today. Great actress Jessica Chastain is 46 years old today. Been in a ton of stuff, very critically acclaimed, and you know, one of the great actors out there. Harry Houdini. Was born on this day in 1874. What a we still refer to Houdiniacs to this day. That's kind of influenced that guy. Right. Tommy Hilfiger, the clothing designer, 72 years old today.
Yep.
Chris Bosh, 39, formerly of the Raptors and the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly LeBrock of Weird Science fame, and once married to Steven Seagal, still strong. That was special.
Just like that's your phrase now. Still strong.
Man.
Still
strong.
Oh yeah. Go back and watch Weird Science. You'll know what we're talking about. Steve Ballmer, Microsoft, Clippers owner now, maniac on the sidelines in his seats, 67 years old today. Norman Fell. All right, do we know who Norman Fell was?
Oh yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Mr. Roper,
baby. That's right.
Yes,
yeah, Three's Company. That's right.
Yeah. He's a Philly guy, Norman Fell. He grew up in South Philly. Joe Barbera. Now you hear the name at first, you're like, you're not really sure, but he was part of Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
That's right.
Which were just dominated, man, in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Huge.
Harry Houdini, aka Barrett Brooks in White Castle.
Exactly. Oh my God.
It's about Steve Fisher, the Michigan basketball coach.
Yeah.
78 today.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Great success there in San Diego State also.
Yep.
Robert Carradine, who played in Revenge of the Nerds and a lot of other stuff. Is
Robert Carradine, he from what's that? What is that show?
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
His brother,
that was his
Keith
brother.
Carradine.
Yeah, brother.
He was in it. He did some episodes. This guy, Robert Carradine.
Yep.
Mike Woodson, Indiana's coach, is 65 today.
Yep.
That's all I got for birthdays. What, you guys have any others? And then we'll hit movies real quick.
Yeah. We have DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Yeah.
25th. Yep. Aaron Brooks, former quarterback. Fifth cousin.
Yep. New Orleans. Oh, you guys are related?
Yeah. Fifth or sixth cousin.
It was Michael Vick's cousin, I believe, also.
Yep. The Undertaker is 58.
Yeah. Can you believe 6'10"? Jeez.
Crazy. Tyler Lepley, he's 36. He's in all those Tyler Perry movies. And as you said, R. Lee Ermey.
Ermey.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
All right, Derek.
That's it.
All right, you got Lake Bell, who was in Black Panther, is 44. Laura Flynn Boyle, Men in Black, Wayne's World, 53. Louis Anderson, a great comedian who passed away in 2022, was 79. Megan Price, the actress, 52. Ann Jones, who was in Game of Thrones as Laura Tyrell, 35. George Sisler, great baseball first baseman and manager. Yep. Mike Adams, the safety, is 42, NFL safety. Dennis Erickson, 76.
Oh, man.
Clyde Barrow, Bonnie and Clyde, infamous history. He was 25 when he was gunned down.
Damn.
Gary Templeton, the great shortstop of the St. Louis Cardinals, 67. Yep. And former track star Ronaldo Nehemiah, 64 today.
The hurdles. He was a hurdler. All right. Probably the GOAT or one of the GOATs, Godfather, this day in 1972. That was
no question. No question. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, everything else falls in comparison. But Major Payne, which I thought was pretty funny.
I enjoyed it.
I
love Major Payne. Yeah.
1995. I didn't see it, but one of the Power Ranger movies came out in 2017.
Yep.
But I don't know anything else. We're good. We're tight.
You got Chips the movie in 2017, Bloodshot in 2020, and guess what comes out today?
What?
John Wick 4, baby.
Yeah, we're going. Yes. All right.
I'll come if you buy me a ticket.
There you go.
I'll go to it.
We're out of time.
Why can't you buy?
Yes. So we're back at it Monday, same time. We appreciate everybody in the chat section, everybody listening, everybody streaming. Yeah, we got to go. I want to thank Tone. Tone did an excellent job. Tone DeShields, as always.
Tone.
Way to go, Tone.
Welcome back, Robert.
Thank you, sir.
Robert. Good to see you, buddy.
See you guys Monday. Don't go anywhere. Get the National Football Show with Dan Cilio coming up. So everybody enjoy your weekend, and we appreciate you. We will see you on Monday.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.